hopefully you can see and hear me well. I'm going to be reading The Hate U Give. Obviously, I don't think I'm going to be able to finish this in one stream. So I might continue to stream this several times with the different chapters. I'm just going to see what I basically get up to today. But yeah, I'll probably list the chapters in the title that I end up reading through. But yeah, I'm going to do a read through of this book. I have to read it for my minority studies class, so I just thought I would share the experience with you guys and share the book. I've been wanting to read it for a while now, so I hope you enjoy it along with me. So this is The Hate U Give by Angie Thomas. Part 1, When It Happens. 1. I shouldn't have come to this party. I'm not even sure I belong at this party. That's not on some bougie shit either. There are just some places where it's not enough to be me. Either version of me. Big D's spring break party is one of those places. I squeeze through sweaty bodies and follow Kenya, her curls bouncing past her shoulders. A haze lingers over the room, smelling like weed, and music rattles the floor. Some rapper calls out for everybody to nay-nay, followed by a bunch of haze as people launch into their own versions. Kenya holds up her cup and dances her way through the crowd. Between the headache from the loud-ass music and the nausea from the weed odor, I'll be amazed if I cross the room without spilling my drink. We break out the crowd. Big D's house is packed wall to wall. I've always heard that everybody and their mama comes to his spring break parties. Well, everybody except me, but damn, I didn't know it would be this many people. Girls wear their hair colored, curled, laid, and slayed. Got me feeling basic as hell with my ponytail. Guys in their freshest kicks and sagging pants grind so close to girls they just about need condoms. My Nana likes to say that spring brings love. Spring in Garden Heights doesn't always bring love, but it promises babies in the winter. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of them are conceived the night of Big D's party. He always has it on the Friday of spring break because you need Saturday to recover and Sunday to repent. Stop following me and go dance, Star, Kenya says. People already say you think you all that. I didn't know so many mind readers lived in Garden Heights, or that people know me as anything other than Big Mab's daughter who works in the store. I sip my drink and spit it back out. I knew there would be more than Hawaiian punch in it, but this is way stronger than I'm used to. They shouldn't even call it punch, just straight up liquor. I put it on the coffee table and say, folks kill me thinking they know what I think. Hey, I'm just saying. You act like you don't know nobody because you go to that school. I've been hearing that for 6 years, ever since my parents put me in Williamson Prep. Whatever, I mumble. It wouldn't kill you to not dress like... She turns up her nose as she looks from my sneakers to my oversized hoodie. That. Ain't that my brother's hoodie? Our brother's hoodie. Kenny and I share an older brother, 7, but she and I aren't related. Her mama is 7's mama, and my dad is 7's dad. Crazy, I know. Yeah, it says... Figures. You know what else people saying too? Got folks thinking you're my girlfriend. Do I look like I care what people think? No, and that's the problem. Whatever. If I'd known following her to this party meant she'd be on some extreme makeover star edition mess, I would have stayed home and watched Fresh Prince reruns. My Jordans are comfortable, and damn, they're new. That's more than people can say. The hoodie's way too big, but I like it that way. Plus, if I pull it over my nose, I can't smell the weed. Well, I ain't babysitting you all night, so you better do something, Kenny says and scopes the room. Kenny could be a model, if I'm completely honest. She's got flawless dark brown skin. I don't think she ever gets a pimple, and slanted brown eyes, and long eyelashes that aren't store-bought. She's the perfect height for modeling too, but a little thicker than those toothpicks on the runway. She never wears the same outfit twice. Her daddy King makes sure of that. Kenya is about the only person I hang out with in Garden Heights. It's hard to make friends when you go to a school that's 45 minutes away and you're a latchkey kid who's only seen at her family's store. It's easy to hang out with Kenya because of her connection to Seven. She's messy as hell sometimes, though, always fighting somebody and quick to say her daddy will whoop somebody's ass. Yeah, it's true, but I wish she'd stop picking fights so she can use her trump card. Hell, I could use mine too. Everybody knows you don't mess with my dad, Big Mav, and you definitely don't mess with his kids. Still, you don't see me going around starting shit. Like a Big D's party, Kenya is giving Denasia Allen some serious stank eye. I don't remember much about Denasia, but I remember that she and Kenya haven't liked each other since 4th grade. Tonight, Denasia's dancing with some guy halfway across the room and paying no attention to Kenya. But no matter where we move, Kenya spots Denasia and glares at her. And the thing about the stank eye is at some point you feel it on you, inviting you to kick some ass or have your ass kicked. Oh, I can't stand her, Kenya seethes. The other day we were in line in the cafeteria, right? And she behind me talking out the side of her neck. She didn't use my name, but I know she was talking about me, saying I tried to get with Devontae. For real? I say, what am I supposed to? I don't want him. I know. Honestly, I don't know who Devontae is. So what did you do? What you think I did? I turned around and asked if she had a problem with me. Old Trick gonna say I wasn't even talking about you. Knowing she was. You're so lucky you go to that white people school and don't have to deal with hoes like that. Ain't this some shit? Not even 5 minutes ago, I was stuck up because I go to Williamson. Now I'm lucky? Trust me, my school has hoes too. Hodom is universal. Watch, we gonna handle her tonight. Kenya's stank eye reaches its highest level of stank. Denasia feels it sting and looks right at Kenya. Kenya confirms, like Denasia hears her. Watch. Hold up, we? That's why you begged me to come to this party, so you can have a tag team partner? She has the nerve to look offended. It ain't like you had nothing else to do, or anybody else to hang out with. I'm doing your ass a favor. Really, Kenya? You do know I have friends, right? She rolls her eyes, hard. Only the whites are visible for a few seconds. Them little bougie girls from your school don't count. They're not bougie, and they do count. I think. Maya and I are cool. Not sure what's up with me and Haley lately. And honestly, if pulling me into a fight is your way of helping my social life, I'm good. God damn, it's always some drama with you. Please, Star. She stretches the please extra long. Too long. This one I'm thinking. We wait until she get away from Devontae, right? And then my phone vibrates against my thigh, and I glance at the screen. Since I've ignored his calls, Chris texts me instead. Can we talk? I didn't mean for it to go like that. Of course he didn't. He meant for it to go a whole different way yesterday, which is the problem. I slipped the phone in my pocket. I'm not sure what I want to say, but I'd rather deal with him later. Kenya, somebody shouts. This big light-skinned girl with bone-straight hair moves through the crowd toward us. A tall boy with a black and blonde fur hawk follows her. They both give Kenya hugs and talk about how cute she looks. I'm not even here. Why you ain't tell me you was coming? The girl says and sticks her thumb in her mouth. She's got an overbite from doing that too. You could have rode with us. Nah, girl, I had to go get Star. Kenya says we walked here together. That's when they notice me, standing not even half a foot from Kenya. The guy squints as he gives me a quick once-over. He frowns for a hot second, but I notice it. Ain't you Big Maeve's daughter who work in the store? See? People act like that's the name on my birth certificate. Yeah, that's me. Oh, the girl says. I knew you looked familiar. We were in 3rd grade together. Miss Bridges' class. I sat behind you. Oh, I know this is the moment I'm supposed to remember her, but I don't. I guess Kenya was right. I really don't know anybody. Their faces are familiar, but you don't get names and life stories when you're bagging folks' groceries. I can lie, though. Yeah, I remember you. Girl, quit lying, the guy says. You know you don't know her ass. Why are you always lying? Kenya and the girl sing together. The guy joins in and they all bust out laughing. Bianca and Chance, be nice, Kenya says. This Star's first party. Her folks don't let her go nowhere. I cut her a side eye. I go to parties, Kenya. Have y'all seen her at any parties around here? Kenya asks them. Nope. Point made, and before you say it, little lame white kid suburb parties don't count. Chance and Bianca snicker. Damn, I wish this hoodie could swallow me up somehow. I bet they be doing Molly and shit, don't they? Chance asks me. White kids love popping pills. And listening to Taylor Swift, Bianca adds, talking about her thumb. Okay, that's somewhat true, but I'm not telling them that. Nah, actually, their parties are pretty dope. I say, one time this boy had J. Cole perform at his birthday party. Damn, for real? Chance asks. Shit. Bitch, next time invite me. I'll party with them white kids. Anyway, Kenya says loudly, we were talking about running up on Denasia, bitch over there dancing with Devontae. Old trick, Bianca says. You know she'd been running her mouth about you, right? I was in Mr. Donald's class last week when Alea told me. Or Alea? When Alea told me. I think it's Alea. Alea told me. Chance rolls his eyes. Ugh, Mr. Donald. You just mad he threw you out, Kenya says. Hell yes. Anyway, Alea told me. Bianca begins. I get lost again as classmates and teachers that I don't know are discussed. I can't say anything. Doesn't matter though. I'm invisible. I feel like that a lot around here. In the middle of them complaining about Denasia and their teachers, Kenya says something about getting another drink, and the three of them walk off without me. Suddenly, I'm Eve in the garden after she ate the fruit. It's like I realize I'm naked. I'm by myself at a party I'm not even supposed to be at, where I barely know anybody, and the person I do know just left me hanging. Kenya begged me to come to this party for weeks. I knew I'd be uncomfortable as hell, but every time I told Kenya no, she said I act like I'm too good for a garden party. I got tired of hearing that shit and decided to prove her wrong. Problem is, it would have taken Black Jesus to convince my parents to let me come. Now Black Jesus will have to save me if they find out I'm here. People glance over at me with that, who is this chick standing against the wall by herself like an idiot look. I slip my hands into my pockets. As long as I play it cool and keep to myself, I should be fine. The ironic thing is, though, at Williamson, I don't have to play it cool. I'm cool by default because I'm one of the only black kids there. I have to earn coolness in Garden Heights, and that's more difficult than buying retro Jordans on release day. Funny how it works with white kids, though. It's dope to be black until it's hard to be black. Star, a familiar voice says. The sea of people parts for him like he's a brown-skinned Moses. Guys give him daps, and girls crane their necks to look at him. He smiles at me and his dimples ruin any G persona he has. Khalil is fine, no other way of putting it, and I used to take baths with him. Not like that, but way back in the day, when we would giggle because he had a wee-wee, and I had what his grandma called a wee-haw. I swear it wasn't perverted, though. He hugs me smelling like soap and baby powder. What's up, girl? Ain't seen you in a minute. He lets me go. You don't text nobody, nothing. Where you been? School and the basketball team keep me busy, I say, but I'm always at the store. You're the one nobody sees anymore. His dimples disappear. He wipes his nose like he always does before a lie. I've been busy. Obviously. The Brandon Jordans, the crisp white tee, the diamonds in his ears. When you grow up in Garden Heights, you know what busy really means. Fuck. I wish he wasn't that kind of busy, though. I don't know if I want to tear him up or smack him. But the way Khalil looks at me with those hazel eyes makes it hard to be upset. I feel like I'm 10 again, standing in the basement of Christ Temple Church, having my first kiss with him at Vacation Bible School. Suddenly, I remember I'm in a hoodie looking a straight-up mess, and that I actually have a boyfriend. I might not be answering Chris's calls or texts right now, but he's still mine, and I want to keep it that way. How's your grandma? I ask, and Cameron? They all. Grandma is sick, though. Khalil sips from his cup. Doctors say she got cancer or whatever. Damn, sorry, Kay. Yeah, she taking chemo. She only worried about getting a wig, though. He gives a weak laugh that doesn't show his dimples. She'll be alright. It's a prayer more than a prophecy. Is your mama helping with Cameron? Good old Star, always looking for the best in people. You know she ain't helping. Hey, it was just a question. She came in the store the other day. She looks better, for now, says Khalil. She claims she's trying to get clean, but it's the usual. She'll go clean a few weeks, decide she wants one more hit, then be back at it. But like I said, I'm good. Cameron's good. Grandma's good. He shrugs. That's all that matters. Yeah, I say, but I remember the nights I spent with Khalil on his porch, waiting for his mama to come home. Whether he likes it or not, she matters to him, too. The music changes, and Drake raps from the speakers. I nod to the beat and rap along under my breath. Everybody on the dance floor yells out, the started from the bottom, now we're here part. Some days we are at the bottom in Garden Heights, but we still share the feeling that, damn, it could be worse. Khalil is watching me. A smile tries to form on his lips, but he shakes his head. Can't believe you still love whiny-ass Drake. I gape at him. Leave my husband alone. Your corny husband. Baby, you my everything, you all I ever wanted. Khalil sings in a whiny voice. I push him with my shoulder and he laughs, his drink splashing over the sides of the cup. You know that's what he sounds like. I flip him off. He puckers his lips and makes a kissing sound. All these months apart and we've fallen back into normal like it's nothing. Khalil grabs a napkin from the coffee table and wipes drink off his Jordans, the 3 retros. They came out a few years ago, but I swear those things are so fresh. They cost about $300, and that's if you find somebody on eBay who goes easy. Chris did. I got mine for a steal at $150, but I wear kid sizes. Thanks to my small feet, Chris and I can match our sneakers. Yes, we're that couple. Shit, we're fly though. If he can stop doing stupid stuff, we'll really be good. I like the kicks, I tell Khalil. Thanks. He scrubs the shoes with his napkin. I cringe. With each hard rub, the shoes cry for my help. No lie, every time a sneaker is cleaned improperly, a kitten dies. Khalil, I say 1 second away from snatching that napkin, either wipe gently back and forth or dab, don't scrub, for real. He looks up at me smirking. Okay, Miss Sneakerhead. And thank Black Jesus he dabs. Since you made me spill my drink on them, I ought to make you clean them. It'll cost you $60. 60? He shouts, straightening up. Hell yeah, and it would be 80 if they had icy soles. Clear bottoms are a bitch to clean. Cleaning kits aren't cheap. Besides, you're obviously making big money if you can buy those. Hold on just for a second. If you guys are watching, I'm gonna try to switch the lamp. It's like right in my eyes. I don't know if it'll reach this far. Maybe I should put it here. Yeah, maybe that's better. Or on the floor. I'll just do that. I'll see if I can get used to it. Okay. Sorry. Khalil sips his drink like I didn't say anything. Mutters, damn this shit's strong, and sets the cup on the coffee table. Hey, tell your pops I need to holla at him soon. Some stuff going down that I need to talk to him about. What kind of stuff? Grown folks' business. Yeah, 'cause you're so grown. 5 months, 2 weeks, and 3 days older than you, he winks. I ain't forgot. A commotion stirs in the middle of the dance floor. Voices argue louder than the music. Cuss words fly left and right. My first thought? Kenny walked up on Denasia like she promised, but the voices are deeper than theirs. Pop! A shot rings out. I duck. Pop! A second shot. The crowd stampedes toward the door, which leads to more cussing and fighting since it's impossible for everybody to get out at once. Khalil grabs my hand. Come on. There are way too many people and way too much curly hair for me to catch a glimpse of Kenya. But Kenya, forget her, let's go. He pulls me through the crowd, shoving people out our way and stepping on shoes. That alone could get us some bullets. Oh, shoving people out our way and stepping on shoes. That alone could get us some bullets. I look for Kenya among the panicked faces, but still no sign of her. I don't try to see who got shot or who did it. You can't snitch if you don't know anything. Cars speed away outside and people run into the night in any direction where shots aren't firing off. Khalil leads me to a Chevy Impala parked under a dim streetlight. He pushes me in through the driver's side and I climb into the passenger seat. We screech off, leaving chaos in the rearview mirror. Always some shit, he mumbles. Can't have a party without somebody getting shot. He sounds like my parents. That's exactly why they don't let me go anywhere Let me go nowhere, as Kenya puts it. At least not around Garden Heights. I send Kenya a text hoping she's alright. Doubt those bullets were meant for her, but bullets go where they want to go. Kenya texts back kinda quick. I'm fine. I see that bitch though, about to handle her ass. Where you at? Is this chick for real? We just ran for our lives and she's ready to fight? I don't even answer that dumb shit. Khalil's Impala is nice, not all flashy like some guys' cars. I didn't see any rims before I got in, and the front seat has cracks in the leather, but the interior is a tacky lime green, so it's been customized at some point. I pick at a crack in the seat. Who you think got shot? Khalil gets his hairbrush out the compartment on the door. Probably a king lord, he says, brushing the sides of his fade. Some garden disciplines came in when I got there. Something was bound to pop off. I nod. Garden Heights has been a battlefield for the past 2 months over some stupid territory wars. I was born a queen because Daddy used to be a king lord, but when he left the game, my street royalty status ended. But even if I'd grown up in it, I wouldn't understand fighting over streets nobody owns. Khalil drops the brush in the door and cranks up his stereo, blasting the rap song Daddy has played 1,000,000 times. I frown. Why are you always listening to that old stuff? Man, get out of here. Tupac was the truth. Yeah, 20 years ago. Now, even now, like, check this. He points at me, which means he's about to go into one of his Khalil philosophical moments. Pac said thug life stood for the hate you give. Little infants fucks everybody. I raise my eyebrows. What? Listen. The hate you, the letter U, give little infants fucks everybody. Thuglife, meaning what society gives us as youth, it bites them in the ass when we wild out. Get it? Damn, yeah. See? Told you he was relevant. He nods to the beat and grabs the lawn. By now, I'm wondering what he's doing to fuck everybody. As much as I think I know, I hope I'm wrong. I need to hear it from him. So have you really been busy? I ask. A few months ago, Daddy said you quit the store. I haven't seen you since. He scoots closer to the steering wheel. Where you want me to take you? Your house or the store? Khalil. Your house or the store? If you're selling that stuff, mind your business, Star. Don't worry about me. I'm doing what I gotta do. Bullshit. You know my dad would help you out. He wipes his nose before his lie. I don't need help from nobody, okay? And that little minimum wage job your pops gave me didn't make nothing happen. I got tired of choosing between lights and food. I thought your grandma was working. She was. When she got sick, them clowns at the hospital claimed they'd work with her. 2 months later, she wasn't pulling her load on the job because you're going through chemo and you can't pull big-ass garbage bins around. They fired her. He shakes his head. Funny, huh? The hospital fired her because she was sick. It's silent in the Paula except for Tupac asking, who do you believe in? I don't know. My phone vibrates again, probably either Chris asking for forgiveness or Kenny asking for backup against Denasia. Instead, my big brother's all caps text appears on the screen. Texts appear on the screen. I don't know why he does that. He probably thinks it intimidates me. Really, it annoys the hell out of me. Where are you? You and Kenny better not be at that party. I heard somebody got shot. The only thing worse than protective parents is protective older brothers. Even Black Jesus can't save me from 7. Khalil glances over at me. 7, huh? How'd you know? 'Cause you always look like you want to punch something when he talks to you. Remember that time at your birthday party when he kept telling you what to wish for? And I popped him in his mouth? Then Natasha got mad at you for telling her boyfriend to shut up. Khalil says, laughing. I roll my eyes. She got on my nerves with her crush on 7. Half the time I thought she came over just to see him. Nah, it was because you had the Harry Potter movies. What we used to call ourselves? The Hood Trio? Tighter than the inside of Voldemort's nose? We were so silly for that. I know, right? He says. We laugh, but something's missing from it. Someone's missing from it. Natasha. Khalil looks at the road. Crazy, it's been 6 years, you know? A whoop whoop sound startles us and blue lights flash in the rearview mirror. 2. When I was 12, my parents had 2 talks with me. One was the usual birds and bees. Well, I didn't really get the usual version. My mom, Lisa, is a registered nurse, and she told me what went where, and what didn't need to go here, there, or any damn where till I'm grown. Back then, I doubted anything was going anywhere anyway. While all the other girls sprouted breasts between 6th and 7th grade, my chest was as flat as my back. The other talk was about what to do if a cop stopped me. Mama fussed and told Daddy I was too young for that. He argued that I wasn't too young to get arrested or shot. Star, you do whatever they tell you to do. He said, keep your hands visible, don't make any sudden moves, only speak when they speak to you. I knew it must have been serious. Daddy has the biggest mouth of anybody I know, and if he said to be quiet, I needed to be quiet. I hope somebody had the talk with Khalil. He cusses under his breath, turns Tupac down, and maneuvers then Paula to the side of the street. We're on Carnation, where most of the houses are abandoned, and half the street lights are busted. Nobody around but us and the cop. Khalil turns the ignition off. Wonder what this fool wants. The officer parks and puts his brights on. I blink to keep from being blinded. I remember something else Daddy said. If you're with somebody, you better hope they don't have nothing on them, or both of y'all going down. "Kay, you don't have anything in the car, do you?" I ask. He watches the cop in a side mirror. Nah. The officer approaches the driver's door and taps the window. Khalil cranks the handle to roll it down. As if we aren't blinded enough, the officer beams his flashlight in our faces. License, registration, and proof of insurance? Khalil breaks the rule. He doesn't do what the cop wants. What you pull us over for? License, registration, and proof of insurance? I said, what you pull us over for? Khalil, I played do what he said. Khalil groans and takes his wallet out. The officer follows his movements with the flashlight. My heart pounds loudly, but Daddy's instructions echo in my head. Get a good look at the cop's face. If you can remember his badge number, that's even better. With the flashlight following Khalil's hands, I make up the numbers on the badge. 115. He's white, mid-30s to early 40s, has a brown buzz cut, and a thin scar over his top lip. Khalil hands the officer his papers and license. 115 looks over them. Where are you two coming from tonight? Nunya, Khalil says, meaning none of your business. What you pull me over for? Your taillight's broken. So you gonna give me a ticket or what? Khalil asks. You know what? Get out the car, smart guy. Man, just give me my ticket. Get out the car. Hands up where I can see them. Khalil gets out with his hands up. 115 yanks him by his arm and pins him against the back door. I fight to find my voice. He didn't mean... Hands on the dashboard. The officer barks at me. Don't move. I do what he tells me, but my hands are shaking too much to be still. He pats Khalil down. Okay, smart mouth, let's see what we find on you today. You ain't gonna find nothing, Khalil says. 115 pats him down 2 more times. He turns up empty. Stay here, he tells Khalil, and you, he looks in the window at me, don't move. I can't even nod. The officer walks back to his patrol car. My parents haven't raised me to fear the police, just to be smart around them. They told me it's not smart to move while a cop has his back to you. Khalil does. He comes to his door. It's not smart to make a sudden move. Khalil does. He opens the driver's door. You okay, Star? Pow! 1. Khalil's body jerks. Blood splatters from his back. He holds onto the door to keep himself upright. Pow! 2. Khalil gasps. Pow! 3. Khalil looks at me, stunned. He falls to the ground. I'm 10 again, watching Natasha drop. An ear-splitting scream emerges from my gut, explodes in my throat, and uses every inch of me to be heard. Instinct says don't move, but everything else says check on Khalil. I jump up on Paula and rush around to the other side. Khalil stares at the sky as if he hopes to see God. His mouth is open like he wants to scream. I scream loud enough for the both of us. No, no, no is all I can say, like I'm a year old and it's the only word I know. I'm not sure how I end up on the ground next to him. My mom once said that if someone gets shot, try to stop the bleeding. But there's so much blood. Too much blood. No, no, no. Khalil doesn't move. He doesn't utter a word. He doesn't even look at me. His body stiffens, and he's gone. I hope he sees God. Someone else screams. I blink through my tears. Officer 115 yells at me, pointing the same gun he killed my friend with. I put my hands up. 3. They leave Khalil's body in the street like it's an exhibit. Police cars and ambulances splash all along Carnation Street. People stand off to the side, trying to see what happened. Damn, bruh, some guy says they killed him. The police tell the crowd to leave. Nobody listens. The paramedics can't do shit for Khalil, so they put me in the back of an ambulance like I need help. The bright lights spotlight me, and people crane their necks to get a peek. I don't feel special. I feel sick. The cops rummage through Khalil's car. I try to tell them to stop. Please cover his body. Please close his eyes. Please close his mouth. Get away from his car. Don't pick up his hairbrush. But the words never come out. 115 sits on the sidewalk with his face buried in his hands. Other officers pat his shoulder and tell him it'll be okay. They finally put a sheet over Khalil. He can't breathe under it. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I gasped and gasped and gasped. Star? Brown eyes with long eyelashes appear in front of me. They're like mine. I couldn't say much to the cops, but I did manage to give them my parents' names and phone numbers. Hey, Daddy says, come on, let's go. I open my mouth to respond. A sob comes out. Daddy's moved aside and Mama wraps her arms around me. She rubs my back and speaks in hushed tones that tell lies. It's all right, baby, it's all right. We stay this way for a long time. Eventually, Daddy helps us out the ambulance. He wraps his arm around me like a shield against curious eyes and guides me to his Tahoe down the street. He drives. A streetlight flashes across his face, revealing how tight his jaw is set. His veins bulge along his bald head. Mom is wearing her scrubs, the ones with the rubber ducks on them. She had an extra shift at the emergency room tonight. She wipes her eyes a few times, probably thinking about Khalil or how that could have been me lying in the street. My stomach twists. All that blood came out of him. Some of it is on my hands, on Seven's hoodie, on my sneakers. An hour ago we were laughing and catching up. Now his blood. Hot spit pools in my mouth. My stomach twists tighter. I gag. Mama glances at me in the rearview mirror. Maverick, pull over. I throw myself across the back seat and push the door open before the truck comes to a complete stop. It feels like everything in me is coming out, and all I can do is let it. Mama hops out and runs around to me. She holds my hair out the way and rubs my back. I'm so sorry, baby, she says. When we get home, she helps me undress. Seven's hoodie and my Jordans disappear into a black trash bag, and I never see them again. I sit in a tub of steaming water and scrub my hands raw to get Khalil's blood off. Daddy carries me to bed, and Mama brushes her fingers through my hair until I fall asleep. Nightmares wake me over and over again. Mama reminds me to breathe the same way she did before I outgrew asthma. I think she stays in my room the whole night, because every time I wake up, she's sitting on my bed. But this time she's gone. My eyes strain against the brightness of my neon blue walls. The clock says it's 5 in the morning. My body's so used to waking up at 5 it doesn't care if it's Saturday morning or not. I stare at the glow-in-the-dark stars on my ceiling, trying to recap the night before. The party flashes in my mind. The fight, 115 pulling me and Khalil over. The first shot rings in my ears. The second. The third. I'm lying in bed. Khalil is lying in the county morgue. That's where Natasha ended up, too. It happened 6 years ago, but I still remember everything from that day. I was sweeping floors at a grocery store, saving up for my first pair of J's, when Natasha ran in. She was chunky. Her mom told her it was baby fat. Dark skin, and wore her hair in braids that always looked freshly done. I wanted braids like hers so bad. Star, the hydrant on Elm Street busted, she said. That was like saying we had a free water park. I remember looking at Daddy and pleading silently. He said I could go as long as I promised to be back in an hour. I don't think I ever saw the water shoot as high as it did that day. Almost everybody in the neighborhood was there too, just having fun. I was the only one who noticed the car at first. A tattooed arm stretched out the back window, holding a Glock. People ran, not me though. My feet became part of the sidewalk. Natasha was splashing in the water, all happy and stuff. Then, pow, pow, pow! I dove into a rose bush. By the time I got up, somebody was yelling, call 911! At first I thought it was me because I had blood on my shirt. The thorns on the rose bush got me, that's all. It was Natasha though. Her blood mixed in with the water and all you could see was a red river flowing down the street. She looked scared. We were 10. We didn't know what happened after you died. Hell, I still don't know. And she was forced to find out, even if she didn't want to find out. I know she didn't, just like Khalil didn't. My door creaks open and Mama peeks in. She tries to smile. Look who's up. She sinks onto her spot on the bed and touches my forehead even though I don't have a fever. She takes care of sick kids so much that it's her first instinct. How you feeling, Munch? That nickname. My parents claim I was always munching on something from the moment I got off the bottle. I've lost my big appetite, but I can't lose that nickname. Tired, I say. My voice has extra bass in it. I want to stay in bed. I know, baby, but I don't want you here by yourself. That's all I want to be, by myself. She stares at me, but it feels like she's looking at who I used to be, her little girl with ponytails and a snaggletooth who swore she was a Powerpuff Girl. It's weird, but also kind of like a blanket I want to get wrapped up in. I love you, she says. I love you too. She stands and holds her hand out. Come on, let's get you something to eat. We walk slowly to the kitchen. Black Jesus hangs from the cross and a painting on the hallway wall, and Malcolm X holds a shotgun and a photograph next to him. Nana still complains about these pictures hanging next to each other. We live in her old house. She gave it to my parents after my Uncle Carlos moved into... She gave it to my parents after my Uncle Carlos moved into his humongous house in the suburbs. Moved her into his humongous house in the suburbs. Uncle Carlos was always uneasy about Nana living by herself in Garden Heights, especially since break-ins. And robberies seem to happen more to older folks than anybody. Nana doesn't think she's old, though. She refused to leave, talking about how it was her home, and no thugs were going to run her out, not even when somebody broke in and stole her television. About a month after that, Uncle Carlos claimed that he and Aunt Pam needed her help with their kids. Since, according to Nana, Aunt Pam can't cook worth a damn for those poor babies, she finally agreed to move. Our house hasn't lost its Nana-ness, though. With its permanent odor of potpourri, flowered wallpaper, and hints of pink in almost every room. Daddy and Seven are talking before we get to the kitchen. They go silent as we walk in. Morning, baby girl. Daddy gets up from the table and kisses my forehead. You sleep okay? Yeah, I lie as he guides me to a seat. Seven just stares. Mama opens the fridge, the door crowded with takeout menus and fruit-shaped magnets. All right, Munch, she says. You want turkey bacon or regular? Regular. I'm surprised I have an option. We never have pork. We aren't Muslims, more like Chrislams. Mama became a member of Christ Temple Church when she was in Nana's belly. Daddy believes in Black Jesus, but follows the Black Panthers' 10-point program more than the 10 Commandments. He agrees with the Nation of Islam on some stuff, but he can't get over the fact that they may have killed Malcolm X. Pig in my house? Daddy grumbles and sits next to me. Seven smirks across from him. Seven and Daddy look like one of those age progression pictures they show when somebody's been missing a long time. Throw my little brother Sakani in there, and you have the same person at 8, 17, and 36. They're dark brown, slender, and have thick eyebrows and long eyelashes that almost look feminine. Seven's dreads are long enough to give both bald-headed Daddy and short-haired Sakani each a head full of hair. As for me, it's as if God mixed my parents' skin tones in a paint bucket to get my medium brown complexion. I did inherit Daddy's eyelashes, and I'm cursed with his eyebrows, too. Otherwise, I'm mostly my mom, with big brown eyes and a little too much forehead. Mama passes behind Seven with the bacon and squeezes his shoulder. Thank you for staying with your brother last night so we could... Her voice catches, but the reminder of what happened hangs in the air. She clears her throat. We appreciate it. No problem. I needed to get out the house. King spent the night? Daddy asks. More like moved in. Aisha... Might be pronouncing that wrong. Aisha talking about they can be a family. Hey, Daddy says, that's your mama boy. Don't be calling her by her name like you've grown. Somebody in the house needs to be grown, Mama says. She takes a skillet out and hollers toward the hall. Sakani, I'm not telling you again. If you want to go to Carlos's for the weekend, you better get up. You're not going to have me late for work. I guess she's got to work a day shift to make up for last night. Pops, you know what's going to happen, Seven says. He'll beat her, she'll put him out. Then he'll come back, saying he changed. Only difference is this time I'm not letting him put his hands on me. You can always move in with us, says Daddy. I know, but I can't leave Kenny and Lyric. That fool's crazy enough to hit them too. He don't care that they're his daughters. Daddy says, don't say anything to him. If he puts his hands on you, let me handle that. Seven nods, then looks at me. He opens his mouth and keeps it open a while before saying, I'm sorry about last night, Star. Somebody finally acknowledges the cloud hanging over the kitchen, which for some reason is like acknowledging me. Thanks, I say, even though it's weird saying that. I don't deserve the sympathy. Khalil's family does. There's just the sound of bacon crackling and popping in the skillet. It's like a fragile stickers on my forehead, and instead of taking a chance and saying something that might break me, they'd rather say nothing at all. But the silence is the worst. I borrowed your hoodie, Seven, I mumble. It's random, but it's better than nothing. The blue one. Mama had to throw it away. Khalil's blood. I swallow. His blood got on it. Oh. That's all anybody says for a minute. Mama turns around to the skillet. Don't make any sense. That baby, she says thickly. He was just a baby. Daddy shakes his head. That boy never hurt anybody. He didn't deserve that shit. Why did they shoot him? Seven asks. Was he a threat or something? No, I say quietly. I stare at the table. I can feel all of them watching me again. He didn't do anything, I say. We didn't do anything. Khalil didn't even have a gun. Daddy releases a slow breath. Folks around here are going to lose their minds when they find that out. People from the neighborhood are already talking about it on Twitter. Seven says, I saw it last night. Did they mention your sister? Mama asks. No, just R.I.P. Khalil messages. Fuck the police, stuff like that. I don't think they know details. What's going to happen to me when the details do come out? I ask. What do you mean, baby? My mom asks. Besides the cop, I'm the only person who was there, and you've seen stuff like this. It ends up on national news. People get death threats, cops target them, all kinds of stuff. I won't let anything happen to you, Daddy says. None of us will. He looks at Mama and Seven. We're not telling anybody that Star was there. Should Sakani know? Seven asks. No, Mama says. It's best if you didn't. We're just going to be quiet for now. I've seen it happen over and over again. A black person gets killed just for being black, and all hell breaks loose. I've tweeted RIP hashtags, reblogged pictures on Tumblr, and signed every petition out there. I always said that if I saw it happen to somebody, I would have the loudest voice, making sure the world knew what went down. Now I'm that person, and I'm too afraid to speak. I want to stay home and watch The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, my favorite show ever, hands down. I think I know every episode word for word. Yeah, it's hilarious, but it's also like seeing parts of my life on screen. I even relate to the theme song. A couple of gang members who were up to no good made trouble in my neighborhood and killed Natasha. My parents got scared, and although they didn't send me to my aunt and uncle in a rich neighborhood, they sent me to a bougie private school. I wish I could be myself at Williamson like Will was himself in Bel-Air. I kind of want to stay home so I can return Chris's calls too. After last night, it feels stupid to be mad at him. Or I could call Haley and Maya. Those girls Kenya claims don't count as my friends. I guess I can see why she says that. I never invite them over. Why would I? They live in mini mansions. My house is just mini. I made the mistake of inviting them to a sleepover in 7th grade. Mama was going to let us do our nails, stay up all night and eat as much pizza as we wanted. It was going to be as awesome as those weekends we had at Haley's. The ones we still have sometimes. I invited Kenya too, so I could finally hang out with all three of them at once. Haley didn't come. Her dad didn't want her spending the night in the ghetto. I overheard my parents say that. Maya came, but ended up asking her parents to come get her that night. There was a drive-by around the corner, and the gunshot scared her. That's when I realized Williamson is one world and Garden Heights is another, and I have to keep them separate. It doesn't matter what I'm thinking about doing today, though. My parents have their own plans for me. Mama tells me I'm going to the store with Daddy. Before Seven leaves for work, he comes to my room in his Best Buy polo and khakis and hugs me. Love you, he says. See, that's why I hate it when somebody dies. People do stuff they wouldn't usually do. Even Mama hugs me longer and tighter with more sympathy than just because in it. Sakani, on the other hand, steals bacon off my plate, looks at my phone, and purposely steps on my foot on his way out. I love him for it. I bring a bowl of dog food and leftover bacon outside to our pit bull, Brooks. Daddy gave him his name because he's always been his heaviest in Brooks. Soon as he sees me, he jumps and fights to break free from his chain, and when I get close enough, his hyper butt jumps up his legs, nearly taking me down. Get, I say. He crouches onto the grass and stares up at me, whimpering with wide puppy dog eyes, the Brooks version of an apology. I know pit bulls can be aggressive, but Brooks is a baby most of the time. A big baby. Now, if somebody tries to break in our house or something, they won't need the baby Brooks. While I feel Brooks and While I feed Brooks and refill his water bowl, Daddy picks bunches of collard greens from his garden. He cuts roses that have blooms as big as my palms. Daddy spends hours out here every night, planting, tilling, and talking. He claims a good garden needs good conversation. About 30 minutes later, we're riding in his truck with the windows down. On the radio, Marvin Gaye asks what's going on. It's still dark out, though the sun peeks through the clouds, and hardly anybody is outside. This early in the morning, it's easy to hear the rumbling of 18-wheelers on the freeway. Okay. Just give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna move the lamp again because my eyes are killing me, and I'm gonna move it on this chair. I'm gonna try to switch the chair over. Let's see. I have to drag some things over. Let's see if this will reach. Will it reach? Man, I'm sure you can see the cord. Okay. I think that'll do. I'd rather have it be on that side of my eyes for now. Okay. Oops. Okay. Just adjusting the camera. There we go. Okay. So about 30 minutes later, we're riding in his truck with the windows down. On the radio, Marvin Gaye asks what's going on. It's still dark out. The sun peeks through the clouds, and hardly anybody is outside. This early in the morning, it's easy to hear the rumbling of 18-wheelers on the freeway. Daddy hums to Marvin, but he couldn't carry a tune if it came in a box. He's wearing a Lakers jersey and no shirt underneath, revealing tattoos all over his arms. One of my baby photos smiles back at me. Permanently etched on his arm with "something to live for, something to die for" written beneath it. Seven and Sakani are on his other arm, with the same words beneath them. Love letters in the simplest form. You want to talk about last night some more? He asks. Nah, whenever you wanna. Another love letter in the simplest form. We turn onto Marigold Avenue where Garden Heights is waking up. Some ladies wearing floral headscarves come out of the laundromat carrying big baskets of clothes. Mr. Rubin unlocks the chains on his restaurant. His nephew Tim, the cook, leans against the wall and wipes sleep from his eyes. Miss Yvette yawns as she goes in her beauty shop. The lights are on at top shelf spirits and wine, but they're always on. Daddy parks in front of Carter's Grocery, our family store. Daddy bought it when I was 9 after the former owner, Mr. Wyatt, left Garden Heights to go sit on the beach all day, watching Pretty Woman. Mr. Wyatt's words, not mine. Mr. Wyatt was the only person who would hire Daddy when he got out of prison, and he later said Daddy was the only person he trusted to run the store. Compared to the Walmart on the east side of Garden Heights, our grocery is tiny. White painted metal bars protect the windows and door. They make the store resemble a jail. Mr. Lewis from the barber shop next door stands out front, his arms folded over his big belly. He sets his narrowed eyes on Daddy. Daddy sighs. Here we go. We hop out. Mr. Lewis gives us... Daddy sighs. Here we go. We hop out. Mr. Lewis gives us some of the best haircuts in Garden Heights. Sakani's high top fade proves it. But Mr. Lewis himself wears an untidy afro. His stomach blocks his view of his feet, and since his wife passed, nobody tells him that his pants are too short and his socks don't always match. Today, one is striped and the other is argyle. The store used to open at 5:55 on the dot. He says, 5:55. It's 6:05. Daddy unlocks the front door. I know, Mr. Lewis, but I told you I'm not running the store the same way Wyatt did. Its show is obvious. First you take down his pictures. Who the hell replaces a picture of Dr. King with some nobody? Huey Newton ain't a nobody. He ain't Dr. King. Then you hire thugs to work up in here. I heard that Khalil boy got himself killed last night. He was probably selling that stuff. Mr. Lewis looks from Daddy's basketball jersey to his tattoos. Wonder where he get that idea from. Daddy's jaw tightens. Star, turn the coffee pot on for Mr. Lewis, so we can get the hell out of here, I say to myself, finishing Daddy's sentence for him. I flick the switch on the coffee pot at the self-serve table, which Huey Newton watches over from a photograph, his fist raised for black power. I'm supposed to replace the filter and put new coffee and water in, but for talking about Khalil, Mr. Lewis gets coffee made from day-old grounds. He limps through the aisles and gets a honey bun, an apple, and a pack of hoghead cheese. He gives me the honey bun. Heat it up, girl, and you bet not overcook it. I leave it in the microwave until the plastic wrapper swells and pops open. Mr. Lewis eats it as soon as I take it out. That thing hot. He chews and blows at the same time. You heated it too long, girl. About to burn my mouth. When Mr. Lewis leaves, Daddy winks at me. The usual customers come in, like Mrs. Jackson, who insists on buying her greens from Daddy and nobody else. 4 red-eyed guys in sagging pants, but almost every bag of chips we have. Buy almost every bag of chips we have. Daddy tells them it's too early to be that blazed, and they laugh way too hard. One of them licks his next blunt as they leave. Around 11, Mrs. Brooks buys some roses and snacks for her bridge club meeting. She has droopy eyes and gold plating on her front teeth. Her wig is gold-colored, too. Y'all need to get some lotto tickets up in here, baby, she says as Daddy rings her up and I bag her stuff. Tonight, it's at $300 million. Daddy smiles. For real? What would you do with all that money, Mrs. Brooks? Shit. Baby, the question is what I wouldn't do with all that money. Lord knows I'd get on the first plane out of here. Daddy laughs. Is that right? Then who gonna make red velvet cakes for us? Somebody else, 'cause I'd be gone. She points to the display of cigarettes behind us. Baby, hand me a pack of them Newports. Those are Nana's favorites, too. They used to be Daddy's favorites before I begged him to quit. I grab a pack and pass it to Mrs. Brooks. She's staring at me moments after, patting the pack against her palm. And I wait for it. The sympathy. Baby, I heard what happened to Rosalie's grandboy. She says, I'm so sorry. Y'all used to be friends, didn't you? The used to stings, but I just say to Mrs. Brooks, yes, ma'am. She shakes her head. Lord have mercy. My heart about break when I heard. I tried to go over there and see Rosalie last night, but so many people were already at the house. Poor Rosalie. All she going through, and now this. Barbara said Rosalie not sure how she gonna pay to bury him. We talk about raising some money. Think you can help us out, Maverick? Oh yeah, let me know what y'all need, and it's done. She flashes those gold teeth and a smile. Boy, it's good. Woo! Lost the page. Hold on. Almost back to it. Oh, here we go. She flashes those gold teeth in a smile. Boy, it's good to see where the Lord done brought you. Your mama would be proud. Daddy nods heavily. Grandma's been gone 10 years, long enough that Daddy doesn't cry every day, but such a short while ago that if someone brings her up, it brings him down. And look at this girl, Mrs. Brooks says, eyeing me. Every bit of Lisa. Maverick, you better watch out. These little boys around here are going to be trying it. Now, they better watch out. You know I ain't having that. She can't date till she's 40. My hand drifts to my pocket, thinking of Chris and his texts. Shit, I left my phone at home. Needless to say, Daddy doesn't know a thing about Chris. We've been together over a year now. 7 knows because he met Chris at school, and Mama figured it out when Chris would always visit me at Uncle Carlos's house, claiming he was my friend. One day, she and Uncle Carlos walked in on us kissing, and they pointed out that friends don't kiss each other like that. I've never seen Chris get so red in my life. She and 7 are okay with me dating Chris, although if it was up to 7, I'd become a nun. But whatever. I can't get the guts to tell Daddy, though, and it's not just because he doesn't want me dating yet. The bigger issue is that Chris is white. At first, I thought my mom might say something about it, but she was like, he could be polka dot as long as he's not a criminal and he's treating you right. Daddy, on the other hand, rants about how Holly Berry act like she can't get with brothers anymore, and how messed up that is. I mean, anytime he finds that a black person is with a white person, suddenly something's wrong with them. I don't want him looking at me like that. Luckily, Mama hasn't told them. She refuses to get in the middle of that fight. My boyfriend, my responsibility to tell Daddy. Mrs. Brooks leaves. Seconds later, the bell clangs. Kenya struts into the store. Her kicks are cute, Bazooka Joe Nike dunks that I haven't added to my collection. Kenya always wears fly sneakers. She goes to get her usual from the aisles. Hey, Star. Hey, Uncle Maverick. Hey, Kenya, Daddy answers, even though he's not her uncle, but her brother's dad. You good? She comes back with a jumbo bag of hot Cheetos and a Sprite. Yeah, my mama wanted to know if my brother spent the night with y'all. There she goes calling Seven my brother, like she's the only one who can claim him. It's annoying as hell. Tell your mama I'll call her later, Daddy says. Okay. Kenny pays first up and makes eye contact with me. She jerks her head a little to the side. I'm gonna sweep the aisles, I tell Daddy. Kenny follows me. I grab the broom and go to the produce aisle on the other side of the store. Some grapes are spilled out from those red-eyed guys sampling before buying. I barely start sweeping before Kenya starts talking. I heard about Khalil. She says, I'm so sorry, Star. You okay? I make myself nod. I just can't believe it, you know? It had been a while since I saw him, but it hurts, Kenny says, but I can't. Yeah. Fuck, I feel the tears coming. I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. I kind of hoped he'd be in here when I walked in. She says softly, like he used to be, bagging groceries in that ugly apron. The green one. Mutter. Yeah. Talking about how women love a man in uniform. I stare at the floor. If I cry now, I may never stop. Kenny pops her hot Cheetos open, holds the bag toward me. Comfort food. I reach in and get a couple. Thanks. No problem. We munch on Cheetos. Khalil's supposed to be here with us. So, I say, my voice is all rough. You and Denasia got into it last night? Girl. She sounds like she's been waiting to drop the story for hours. Devontae came over to me right before it got crazy. He asked for my number. I thought he was Denasia's boyfriend. Devontae not the type to be tied down. Anyway, Denasia walked over to start something, but the shots went off. We ended up running down the same street, and I clocked her ass. It was so funny, you should have seen it. I would have rather seen that instead of Officer 115. Or Khalil staring at the sky, or all that blood. My stomach twists again. Kenya waves her hand in front of me. Hey, you okay? I blink. Khalil and that cop away. Yeah, I'm good. You sure? You real quiet. Yeah. She lets it drop, and I let her tell me about the second round she has planned for Denasia. Daddy calls me up front. When I get there, he hands me a 20. Get some beef ribs from Reuben's, and I want potato salad and fried okra, I say. That's what he always has on Saturdays. He kisses my cheek. You know your daddy. Get whatever you want, baby. Kenny follows me out the store. We wait for a car to pass, the music blasting and the driver reclines so far back that only the tip of his nose seems to nod to the song. We cross the street to Reuben's. The smoky aroma hits us on the sidewalk, and a blue sun pours outside. Instead, the walls... Hold on, I'm going to turn there. The smoky aroma hits us on the sidewalk, and a blue sun pours outside. Instead, the walls are covered with photographs of civil rights leaders, politicians, and celebrities who have eaten here, like James Brown and pre-heart bypass Bill Clinton. There's a picture of Dr. King and a much younger Mr. Rubin. A bulletproof partition separates the customers from the cashier. I fan myself after a few minutes in line. The air conditioner in the window stopped working months ago, and the smoker heats up the whole building. When we get to the front of the line, Mr. Rubin greets us with a gap-toothed smile from behind the partition. Hey, Star and Kenya, how y'all doing? Mr. Rubin is one of the only people around here who actually calls me by my name. He remembers everybody's name somehow. Hey, Mr. Rubin, I say. My daddy wants as usual. He writes it on a pad. All right, beefs, tater salad, okra. Y'all want fried barbecue wings and fries? An extra sauce for you, Star Baby? He remembers everybody's usual orders, too, somehow. Yes, sir, we say. All right. Y'all been staying out of trouble? Yes, sir, Kenny lies with ease. How about some pound cake on the house, then? Reward for good behavior. We say yeah and thank him, but see, Mr. Rubin could know about Kenny's fights and would offer her pound cake regardless. He's nice like that. He gives kids free meals if they bring in their report cards. If it's a good one, he'll make a copy and put it on the all-star wall. If it's bad, as long as they own up to it and promise to do better, he'll still give them a meal. It's gonna take about 15 minutes, he says. That means sit and wait till your number is called. We find a table next to some white guys. You rarely see white people in Garden Heights, but when you do, they're usually at Reuben's. The men watch the news on the box TV in a corner of the ceiling. I'm munching some of Kenny's hot Cheetos. They would taste much better with cheese sauce on them. Has there been anything on the news about Khalil? She pays more attention to her phone. Yeah, like I watch the news. I think I saw something on Twitter though. I wait. Between a story about a bad car accident on the freeway and a garbage bag of live puppies that was found in a park, there's a short story about an officer-involved shooting that is being investigated. They don't even say Khalil's name. Some bullshit. We get our food and head back to the store. Right as we cross the street, a gray BMW pulls up beside us, bass thumping inside like the car has a heartbeat. The driver's side window rolls down, smoke drifts out, and the male 300-pound version of Kenya smiles at us. What up, Queens? Kenya leans in through the window and kisses his cheek. Hey, Daddy. Hey, Star, he says. Not gonna say hey to your uncle? You ain't my uncle, I want to say. You ain't shit to me. And if you touch my brother again, I'll... Hey, King, I finally mumble. His smile fades like he hears my thoughts. He puffs on a cigar and blows smoke from the corner of his mouth. 2 tears are tattooed under his left eye. 2 lives he's taken, at least. I see y'all been to Reuben's. Here, he holds out 2 fat rolls of money. Make up for whatever y'all spent. Kenya takes one easily, but I'm not touching that dirty money. No thanks. Go on, Queen, King winks. Take some money from your godfather. Nah, she good, Daddy says. He walks towards us. Daddy leans against the car window so he's eye level with King and gives him one of those guy handshakes. With so many movements, you wonder how they remember it. Big Mav, Kenny's dad says with a grin. What up, King? Don't call me that shit. Daddy doesn't say it loudly or angrily, but in the same way I would tell somebody not to put onions or mayo on my burger. Daddy once told me that King's parents named him after the same gang he later joined, and that's why a name is important. It defines you. King became a king lord when he took his first breath. Oh. I was just giving my goddaughter some pocket change, King says. I heard what happened to her little homie. That's fucked up. Yeah, you know how it is, Daddy says. Popo shot first, ask questions later. No doubt, they worse than us sometimes, King chuckles. But hey, on some business shit, I got a package coming, need somewhere to keep it, got too many eyes on Aisha's house. I already told you that shit ain't going down here. King rubs his beard. Okay, so folks get out the game, forget where they come from, forget that if it wasn't for my money, they wouldn't have their little store. And if it wasn't for me, you'd be locked up. 3 years state pen, remember that shit? I don't owe you nothing. Daddy leans onto the window and says, but if you touch 7 again, I'll owe you an ass whooping. Remember that, now that you done moved back in with his mama. King sucks his teeth. Kenya, get in the car. But Daddy, I said get your ass in the car. Kenny mumbles bye to me. She goes around to the passenger side and hops in. I ain't Big Math. So it's like that? King says. Daddy straightens up. It's exactly like that. Aight then. Just make sure your ass don't get out of line. Ain't no telling what I'll do. The BMW peels out. 4. That night, Natasha tries to convince me to follow her to the fire hydrant, and Khalil begs me to go for a ride with him. I force a smile, my lips trembling, and tell them I can't hang out. They keep asking, and I keep saying no. Darkness crawls toward them. I try to warn them, but my voice doesn't work. The shadow swallows them up in an instant. Now it creeps toward me. I back away only to find it behind me. I wake up. My clock glows with the numbers. 11:05. I suck in deep breaths. Sweat glues my tank top and basketball shorts to my skin. Sirens scream nearby, and bricks and other dogs bark in response. Sitting on the side of my bed, I rub my face as if that'll wipe the nightmare away. No way I can go back to sleep. Not if it means seeing them again. My throat is lined with sandpaper and aches for water. When my feet touch the cold floor, goosebumps pop all over me. Daddy always has the air conditioning on high in the spring and summer, turning the house into a meat locker. The rest of us shiver our butts off, but he enjoys it, saying, a little cold never hurt nobody. A lie. I drag myself down the hall. Halfway to the kitchen, I hear Mama say, why can't they wait? She just saw one of her best friends die. She doesn't need to relive that right now. I stop. Light from the kitchen stretches into the hallway. We have to investigate, Lisa, says the second voice. Uncle Carlos, Mama's older brother. We want the truth as much as anyone. I mean, y'all want to justify what that pig did? Daddy says, investigate my ass. Maverick, don't make this something it's not, Uncle Carlos says. A 16-year-old black boy is dead because a white cop killed him. What else could it be? Shh, Mama hisses. Keep it down. Star had the hardest time falling asleep. Uncle Carlos says something, but it's too low for me to hear. I inch closer. This isn't about black or white, he says. Bullshit, says Daddy. If this was down in Riverton Hills and his name was Richie, we wouldn't be having this conversation. I heard he was a drug dealer, says Uncle Carlos. And that makes it okay? Daddy asks. I didn't say it did, but it could explain Brian's decision if he felt threatened. And no lodges in my throat aching to be yelled out. Khalil wasn't a threat that night. And what made the cop think he was a drug dealer? Wait, Brian? That's 115's name? Oh, so you know him? Daddy mocks. I ain't surprised. He's a colleague, yes, and a good guy, believe it or not. I'm sure this is hard on him. Who knows what he was thinking at that time? At the time. You said it yourself. He thought Khalil was a drug dealer. Daddy says, a thug. Why he assumed that, though? What? By looking at Khalil? Explain that, detective. Silence. Why was she even in the car with a drug dealer? Uncle Carlos asks. Lisa, I keep telling you, you need to move her and Sakani out of this neighborhood. It's poisonous. I've been thinking about it, and we're not going anywhere, Daddy says. Maverick, she's seen 2 of her friends get killed, Mama says. 2, and she's only 16. And one was at the hands of a person who was supposed to protect her. What, you think if you live next door to them, they'll treat you different? Why does it always have to be about race with you? Uncle Carlos asks. Other races aren't killing us nearly as much as we're killing ourselves. Ooh, I don't know if I want to say this. Insert, I don't want to say it because, please. If I kill Tyrone, I'm going to prison. If a cop kills me, he's getting put on leave. Maybe. If I kill Tyrone, I'm going to prison. If a cop kills me, he's going to... Oh. You know what? There's no point in having this conversation with you, Uncle Carlos says. Will you at least consider letting Star speak to the detectives handling the case? We should probably get her an attorney first, Carlos, Mama says. That's not necessary right now, he says. And it wasn't necessary for the cop to pull the trigger, he says, Daddy. You really think we're going to let them talk to our daughter and twist her words around because she doesn't have a lawyer? Nobody's going to twist her words around. I told you we want the truth to come out too. Oh, we know the truth. That's not what we want, says Daddy. We want justice. Uncle Carlos sighs. Lisa, the sooner she talks to the detectives, the better. It will be a simple process. All she has to do is answer some questions. That's it. No need to spend money to get an attorney just yet. Frankly, Carlos, we don't want anyone to know Star was there, Mama says. She's scared. I am too. Who knows what's going to happen? I get that, but I can assure you she'll be protected if you don't trust the system. Can you at least trust me? I don't know, says Daddy. Can we? You know what, Maverick? I've just about had it with you. You can get out my house then. It wouldn't even be your house if it wasn't for me and my mom. Y'all stop, Mama says. If I shift my weight and goddamn if the floor doesn't creak, which is like sounding an alarm. Oh, I shift my weight and goddamn if the floor doesn't creak, which is like sounding an alarm. Mama glances around the kitchen doorway and down the hall, straight at me. Star baby, what you doing up? Now I have no choice but to go to the kitchen. The 3 of them are sitting around the table, my parents in their pajamas and Uncle Carlos in some sweats and a hoodie. Hey, baby girl, he says. We didn't wake you up, did we? No, I say, sitting next to Mama. I was already awake. Nightmares. All of them look sympathetic even though I didn't say it for sympathy. I kind of hate sympathy. What are you doing here? I ask Carlos. Sakani has a stomach bug and begged me to bring him home. And your uncle was just getting ready to leave, Daddy adds. Uncle Carlos's jaw twitches. His face has gotten browner since he made detective. He has Mama's high yellow complexion, as Nana calls it, and when he gets mad, his face turns deep red like it is now. I'm sorry about Khalil, baby girl, he says. I was just telling your parents how the detectives would like for you to come in and answer a few questions. But you don't have to do it if you don't wanna, Daddy says. You know what? Carlos begins. Stop, please, says Mama. She looks at me. Munch, do you want to talk to the cops? I swallow. I wish I could say yes, but I don't know. On one hand, it's the cops. It's not like I'll be telling just anybody. On the other hand, it's the cops. One of them killed Khalil, but Uncle Carlos is a cop and he wouldn't ask me to do something that would hurt me. Will it help Khalil get justice, I ask? Uncle Carlos nods. It will. Will 115 be there? Who? The officer. That's his badge number, I say. I remember it. Oh, no, he won't be there. I promise. It'll be okay. Uncle Carlos's promises are guarantees, sometimes even more than my parents'. He never uses that word unless he absolutely means it. Okay, I say. I'll do it. Oh, Foot's falling asleep. Thank you. Uncle Carlos comes over and gives me 2 kisses to my forehead, the way he's done since he used to tuck me in. Lisa, just bring her after school on Monday. It shouldn't take too long. Mama gets up and hugs him. Thank you. She walks him down the hall to the front door. Be safe, okay? And text me when you get home. Yes, ma'am. Sounding like her mama. He teases. Whatever. You just better text me. Okay. Good night. Mama comes back to the kitchen, pulling her robe together. Munch, your father and I are visiting Miss Rosalie in the morning instead of going to church. You're welcome to come if you want. Yeah, Daddy says. And ain't no uncle pressuring you to go. Mama cuts him a quick glare, then turns to me. So you think you're up for it, Star? Talking to Miss Rosalie may be harder than talking to the cops, honestly. But I owe it to Khalil to pay his grandmother a visit. She may not even know I was a witness to the shooting. If she somehow does and wants to know what happened, more than anybody, she has the right to ask. Yeah, I'll go. We better find her an attorney before she talks to the detectives, Daddy says. Maverick, Mama sighs. Carlos doesn't think it's necessary just yet. I trust his judgment. Plus, I'll be with her the entire time. Good thing somebody trusts his judgment, says Daddy. And you've really been thinking again about moving? We discussed this already. Maverick, I'm not going there with you tonight. How are we going to change anything around here if we... Maverick, she says through gritted teeth. Whenever Mama breaks a name down like that, you better hope it's not yours. I said I'm not going there tonight. She side-eyes him, waiting for the comeback. There isn't one. Try and get some sleep, baby. She tells me, kisses my cheek before going to their room. Daddy goes to the refrigerator. You want some grapes? Yeah. How come you and Uncle Carlos are always fighting? 'Cause he's a buster. He joins me at the table with a bowl of white grapes. But for real, he ain't never liked me. Thought I was a bad influence on your mama. Lisa was wild when I met her, though. Like all them other Catholic schoolgirls. I bet he was more protective of Mama than Seven is with me, huh? Oh yeah, he says. Carlos acted like he was Lisa's daddy. When I got locked up, he moved y'all in with him and blocked my calls. Even took her to a divorce attorney. He grinned, still couldn't get rid of me. I was 3 when Daddy went in prison. 6 when he got out. A lot of my memories include him, but a lot of my firsts don't. First day of school, the first time I lost a tooth, the first time I rode a bike without training wheels. In those memories, Uncle Carlos's face is where Daddy's should have been. I think that's the real reason they're always fighting. Daddy drums the mahogany surface of the dining table, making a thump, thump, thump beat. Nightmares will go away after a while, he says. They're always the worst right after. That's how it was with Natasha. How many people have you seen die? Enough. Worst one was my cousin Andre. His finger seems to instinctively trace the tattoo on his arm and aim with the crown over it. A drug deal turned into a robbery, and he got shot in the head twice, right in front of me, a few months before you were born, in fact. That's why I named you Star. He gives me a small smile, my light during all that darkness. Daddy chomps on some grapes. Don't be scared about Monday. Tell the cops the truth and don't let them put words in your mouth. God gave you a brain. You don't need theirs. Remember that you didn't do nothing wrong. The cop did. Don't let them make you think otherwise. Something's bugging me. I wanted to ask Uncle Carlos, but I couldn't for some reason. Daddy's different, though. Well, Uncle Carlos somehow keeps impossible promises. Daddy keeps it real with me. You think the cops want Khalil to have justice? I ask. Thump, 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 thump. The truth casts a shadow over the kitchen. People like us in situations like this become hashtags, but they rarely get justice. I think we all wait for that one time, though. That one time when it ends right. Maybe this can be it. I don't know, Daddy says. I guess we'll find out. Sunday morning, we pull up to a small yellow house. Bright flowers bloom below the front porch. I used to sit with Khalil on that porch. My parents and I help out the truck. Daddy carries a foil-covered pan of lasagna that Mama made. Sakani claims he's still not feeling good, so he stayed home. Seven's there with him. I don't buy this sick act, though. Sakani always gets some kind of bug right as spring break ends. Going up Miss Rosalie's walkway floods me with memories. I have scars tattooed on my arms and legs from falls on this concrete. One time I was on my scooter and Khalil pushed me off because I hadn't given him a turn. When I got up, skin was missing from most of my knee. I never screamed so loud in my life. We played hopscotch and jumped rope on this walkway too. Khalil never wanted to play at first, talking about how those were girls' games. He always gave in when me and Natasha said the winner got a freeze cup, frozen Kool-Aid in a styrofoam cup, or a pack of Nihilators, aka now and laters. Miss Rosalie was a neighborhood candy lady. I was at her house almost as much as I was at my own. Mama and Miss Rosalie's youngest daughter, Tammy, were best friends growing up. When Mama got pregnant with me, she was in her senior year of high school, and Nana put her out the house. Miss Rosalie took her in until my parents eventually got an apartment of their own. Mama says Miss Rosalie was one of her biggest supporters. And cried at her high school's graduation like it was her own daughter walking across the stage. 3 years later, Miss Rosalie saw Mama and me at Wyatt's. This was way before it became our store. She asked my mom how college was going. Mama told her that with Daddy in prison, she couldn't afford daycare, and that Nana would take care of me because I wasn't her baby, and therefore I wasn't her problem. So Mom was thinking about dropping out. Miss Rosalie told her to bring me to her house the next day and that she better not say a word about paying her. She babysat me and later Sakani the whole time Mama was in school. Mama knocks on the door, rattling the screen. Miss Tammy answers in a head wrap, t-shirt, and sweatpants. She unhooks the lock. Oh my god, I lost the page again. Okay. Miss Tammy answers in a head wrap, t-shirt, and sweatpants. She unhooks the locks, hollering back, Maverick, Lisa, and Star here, Ma. The living room looks just like it did when Khalil and I played hide and seek in it. There's still plastic on the sofa and recliner. If you sit in them too long in the summer while wearing shorts, the plastic nearly glues to your legs. Hey, Tammy girl, Mama says, and they hug long and hard. How you doing? I'm hanging in there. Miss Tammy hugs Daddy, then me. Just hate that this is the reason I had to come home. It's so weird looking at Miss Tammy. She looks the way Khalil's mom, Miss Brenda, would look if Miss Brenda wasn't on crack. A lot like Khalil. Same hazel eyes and dimples. One time Khalil said he wished Miss Tammy was his mama instead so he could live in New York with her. I used to joke and tell him she didn't have time for him. I wish I never said that. Where do you want me to put this lasagna, Tam? Daddy asks her. In the refrigerator if you can find room, she says as he heads toward the kitchen. Mama said folks brought food all day yesterday. They were still bringing it when I got here last night. Seems like the whole neighborhood has stopped by. That's the garden for you, Mama says. If folks can't do anything else, they'll cook. You ain't never lied. Miss Tammy motions to the sofa. Y'all have a seat. Mama and I sit down, and Daddy comes back and joins us. Miss Tammy takes the recliner that Miss Rosalie usually sits in. She gives me a sad smile. Star, you know you sure have grown since the last time I saw you. You and Khalil both grew up so... Her voice cracks. Mama reaches over and pats her knee. Miss Tammy takes a deep breath and smiles at me again. It's good to see you, baby. We know Miss Rosalie gonna tell us she's fine, Tam. Daddy says, but how's she really doing? We're taking one day at a time. The chemo's working, thankfully. I hope I can convince her to move in with me. That way I can make sure she's getting her prescriptions. She sighs through her nose. I had no idea Mama was struggling like she was. I didn't even know she'd lost her job. You know how she is. Never want to ask for help. What about Miss Brenda? I ask. I have to. Khalil would have. I don't know, Star. That's complicated. We haven't seen her since we got the news. Don't know where she is. If we do find her, though, I don't know what we'll do. I can help you find a rehab facility near you, Mama says. She's gotta want to get clean, though. Miss Tammy nods, and that's the problem. But I think this will either push her to finally get help or push her over the edge. I hope it's the former. Cameron holds his grandma's hand as he leads her into the living room like she's the queen of the world in a housecoat. She looks thinner but strong for somebody going through chemo and all of this. A scarf wrapped around her head adds to her majesty, an African queen, and we're blessed to be in her presence. The rest of us stand. Mama hugs Cameron and kisses one of his chubby cheeks. Khalil called him Chipmunk because of them, but he'd check anybody stupid enough to call his little brother fat. Daddy gives Cameron a palm slap that ends in a hug. What's up, man? You okay? Yes, sir. A big white smile spreads across Miss Rosalie's face. She holds her arms out, and I walk into the most heartfelt hug I've ever gotten from somebody who's not related to me. There's not any sympathy in it either, just love and strength. I guess she knows I need some of both. My baby, she says. She pulls back and looks at me, tears brimming in her eyes. We went and grew up on me. She hugs my parents too. Miss Tammy lets her have the recliner. Miss Rosalie pats the end of the sofa closest to her, so I sit there. She holds my hand and rubs her thumb along the top of it. She says. It's like my hand is telling her a story, and she's responding. She listens to it for a while, then says, I'm so glad you came over. I've been wanting to talk to you. Yes, ma'am, I say what I'm supposed to. You were the very best friend that boy ever had. This time I can't say what I'm supposed to. Miss Rosalie, we weren't as close. I don't care, baby, she says. Khalil never had another friend like you. I know that for a fact. I swallow. Yes, ma'am. The police told me you were the one with him when it happened, so she knows. Yes, ma'am. I'm standing on the track, watching the train barrel toward me, and I tense up and wait for the impact, the moment she asks what happened. But the train shifts to another track. Maverick, he wanted to talk to you. He wanted your help. Daddy straightens up. For real? Uh-huh, he was selling that stuff. Something leaves me. I mean, I kind of figured it, but to know it's the truth, this hurts. But I swear I want to cuss out Khalil. How could he sell the very stuff that took his mama from him? Did he realize that he was taking somebody else's mama from them? Did he realize that if he does become a hash chick, some people will only see him as a drug dealer? He was so much more than that. But he wanted to stop, Miss Rosalie says. He told me, Grandma, I can't stay in this. Mr. Maverick said it only leads to two things, the grave or prison, and I ain't trying to see either. He respected you, Maverick, a lot. You were the father he never had. I can't explain it, but something leaves Daddy too. His eyes dim and he nods. Mama rubs his back. I tried to talk some sense into him, Miss Rosalie says, but this neighborhood makes young men deaf to their elders. The money part didn't help. He was going around here. Sorry, just give me... But this neighborhood makes young men deaf to their elders. This money part didn't help. He was going around here paying bills, buying sneakers en masse, but I know he remembered the things you told him over the years, Maverick, and that gave me a lot of faith. I keep thinking if only he had another day, or... Miss Rosalie covers her trembling lips. Miss Tammy starts for her, but she says, I'm okay, Tam. She looks at me. I'm happy he wasn't alone, but I'm even happier you were with him. That's all I need to know. Don't need details, nothing else. Knowing you were with him is good enough. Like Daddy, all I can do is nod. But as I hold Khalil's grandma's hand, I see the anguish in her eyes. His little brother can't smile anymore. So what if people end up thinking he was a thug and never care? We care. Khalil matters to us, not the stuff he did. Forget everybody else. Mama leans across me and sets an envelope in Miss Rosalie's lap. We want you to have that. Miss Rosalie opens it, and I catch a glimpse of a whole lot of money inside. What in the world? Y'all know I can't take this. Yes, you can, Daddy says. We ain't forgot how you kept Star and Sakani for us. We weren't about to let you be empty-handed. And we know you all are trying to pay for the funeral, Mama says. Hopefully that'll help. Plus, we're raising money around the neighborhood, too, so don't you worry about a thing. Miss Rosalie wipes a new set of tears from her eyes. I'm gonna pay y'all back every penny. Did we say you had to pay us back? Daddy asks. You focus on getting better, aye? And if you give us any money, we giving it right back. God's my witness. There are a lot more tears and hugs. Miss Rosalie gives me a freeze cup for the road, red syrup glistening on the top. She always makes them extra sweet. As we leave, I remember how Khalil used to run up to the car when I was about to go, the sun shining on the grease lines that separated his cornrows. The glimmer in his eyes would be just as bright. He'd knock on the window, I'd let it down, and he'd say with a snaggletooth grin, "See you later, alligator." Back then, I'd giggle behind my own snaggle teeth. Now I tear up. Goodbyes hurt the most when the other person's already gone. I imagine him standing at my window, and I smile for his sake. After a while, crocodile. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna get some water, I'll be back, and then I might read chapter 5, and I might take a break after chapter 5, we'll see. I'll go through here. Okay, I don't think this is gonna stay here. I wonder if I do this. I'm gonna move this for a second. And then I'm gonna try to put this up here. Okay. Oh, I might move it back. Okay. 5. On Monday, the day I'm supposed to talk to the detectives, I'm crying out of nowhere. Hunched over my bed as the iron in my hand spits out steam. Mama takes it before I burn the Williamson crest on my polo. She rubs my shoulder. Let it out, Munch. We have a quiet breakfast at the kitchen table without 7. He spent the night at his mom's house. I pick at waffles. Just thinking about going into that station with all those cops makes me want to puke. Food would make it worse. After breakfast, we join hands in the living room like we always do under the framed poster of the 10-point program, and Daddy leads us in prayer. Black Jesus, watch over my babies today, he says. Keep them safe, steer them from wrong, and help them recognize snakes from friends. Give them the wisdom they need to be their own people. Help Seven with the situation in his mom's house, and let him know he can always come home. Thank you for Sakani's miraculous sudden healing that just so happened to come after he found out they're having pizza at school today. I peek out at Sakani, whose eyes and mouth are open wide. I smirk and close my eyes. Be with Lisa at the clinic as she helps your people. Help my baby girl get through her situation, Lord. Give her peace of mind and help her speak her truth this afternoon. And lastly, strengthen Miss Rosalie, Cameron, Tammy, and Brenda as they go through this difficult time. In your precious name, I pray. Amen. Amen, the rest of us say. Daddy, why you put me on the spot like that with Black Jesus? Sakani complains. He knows the truth, Daddy says. He wipes crust from the corners of Sakani's eyes and straightens the collar of his polo. I'm trying to help you out, get you some mercy or something, man. Daddy pulls me into a hug. You gonna be alright? I nod into his chest. Yeah, I could stay like this all day. It's one of the few places where 115 doesn't exist and where I can forget about talking to detectives. But Mama says we need to leave before rush hour. Now don't get it wrong. I can drive. I got my license a week after my 16th birthday, but I can't get a car unless I pay it for myself. I told my parents I don't have time for a job with school and basketball. They said I don't have time for a car then either. Messed up. It takes 45 minutes to get to school on a good day and an hour on a slow one. Sakani doesn't have to wear his headphones because Mama doesn't cuss anybody out on the freeway. She hums with Gospel songs on the radio and says, "Give me strength, Lord, give me strength." We get off the freeway into Riverton Hills and pass all these gated neighborhoods. Uncle Carlos lives in one of them. To me, it's so weird to have a gate around a neighborhood. Seriously, are they trying to keep people out or keep people in? If somebody puts a gate around Garden Heights, it'll be a little bit of both. Our school is gated too. The campus has new modern buildings with lots of windows and marigolds blooming along the walkways. Mama gets in the carpool lane for the lower school. "So, Connie, you remembered your iPad?" "Yes, ma'am." "Lunch card?" "Yes, ma'am." "Gym shorts? And you better have gotten the clean ones, too." "Yes, Mama. I'm almost 9. Can't you give me a little credit?" She smiles. "All right, big man. Think you can give me some sugar?" So Connie leans over the front seat and kisses her cheek. "Love you. Love you, too. And don't forget, Seven's bringing you home today." He runs over to some of his friends and blends in with all the other kids in khakis and polos. We get in the carpool lane for my school. "All right, Munch," Mama says. "Seven's going to bring you to the clinic after school. Then you and I will go to the station. Are you absolutely sure you're up for it?" "No, but Uncle Carlos promised it'll be okay." "I'll do it." "Okay, call me if you don't think you can make it the whole day at school." "Hold up, I could have stayed home. Why are you making me come in the first place?" "Because you need to get out the house, out that neighborhood. I want you to at least try, Star. This will sound mean, but just because Khalil's not living doesn't mean you stop living. You understand, baby?" "Yeah, I know she's right, but it feels wrong." We get to the front of the carpool line. "Now, I don't have to ask if you brought some funky-ass gym shorts, do I?" She says. I laugh. "No, bye, Mama." "Bye, baby." I get out the car. For at least 7 hours, I don't have to talk about 115. I don't have to think about Khalil. I just have to be normal Star and normal Williamson and have a normal day. That means flipping the switch in my brain so I'm Williamson Star. Williamson Star doesn't use slang. If a rapper would say it, she doesn't say it, even if her white friends do. Slang makes them cool. Slang makes her hood. Williamson Star holds her tongue when people piss her off so nobody will think she's the angry black girl. Williamson Star is approachable. No stank eyes, side eyes, none of that. William Star is non-confrontational. Williamson Star is non-confrontational. Basically, William Star doesn't give anyone a reason to call her ghetto. I can't stand myself for doing it, but I do it anyway. I sling my backpack over my shoulder. As usual, it matches my J's. The blue and black 11s, like Jordan wore in Space Jam. I worked at the store a month to buy them. I hate dressing like everybody else, but the Fresh Prince taught me something. See, Will always wore his school uniform jacket inside out so he could be different. I can't wear my uniform inside out, but I can make sure my sneakers are always dope and my backpack always matches them. I go inside and scan the atrium for Maya, Haley, or Cress. I don't see them, but I see that half the kids have tans from spring break. Luckily, I was born with one. Someone covers my eyes. "Maya, I know that's you." She snickers and moves her hands. I'm not tall, but Maya has to stand on her tiptoes to cover my eyes, and the chick actually wants to play center on the varsity basketball team. She wears her hair in a high bun because she probably thinks it makes her look taller, but nope. "What's up, miss? I can't text anyone back," she says. We do our little handshake. It's not complicated like Danny and King's, but it works for us. "I was starting to wonder if you were abducted by aliens." "Huh?" She holds up her phone. The screen has a brand new crack stretching from corner to corner. Maya's always dropping it. "You haven't texted me in 2 days, Star," she says. "Not cool." "Oh." I barely looked at my phone since the incident. "Sorry, I was working at the store. You know how crazy that can get. How was your spring break?" "Okay, I guess." She munches on some Sour Patch Kids. "We visited my great-grandparents in Taipei. I ended up taking a bunch of snapbacks and basketball shorts. So all week long I heard, 'Why do you dress like a boy? Why do you play a boy sport?' Blah, blah, blah. And it was awful when they saw a picture of Ryan. They asked if he was a rapper." I laugh and steal some of her candy. Maya's boyfriend Ryan happens to be the only other black kid in 11th grade, and everybody expects us to be together. Because apparently when it's 2 of us, we have to be on some Noah Arks type shit and pair up to preserve the blackness of our grade. Lately, I'm super aware of BS like that. We head for the cafeteria. Our table near the vending machines is almost full. There's Haley sitting on top of it having a heated discussion with curly-haired dimpled Luke. I think that's foreplay for them. They've liked each other since 6th grade, and if your feelings can survive the awkwardness of middle school, you should stop playing around and go out. Some of the other girls from the team are there too. Just the co-captain and Britt the center who makes Maya look like an ant. It's kind of stereotypical that we all sit together, but it worked out that way. I mean, who else will listen to us bitch about swollen knees and understand inside jokes born on the bus after a game? Chris's boys in the basketball team are at the table next to ours, egging Haley and Luke on. Chris isn't there yet, unfortunately and fortunately. Luke sees me and Maya and reaches his arms toward us. Thank you, two sensible people who can end this discussion. I slide onto the bench beside Jess. She rests her head on my shoulder. They've been at it for 15 minutes. Poor girl, I pat her hair. I have a secret crush on Jess's pixie cut. My neck's not long enough for one, but her hair is perfect. Every strand is where it should be. If I were into girls, I would totally date her for her hair. And she would date me for my shoulder. What's it about this time, I ask. Pop-Tarts, Britt says. Haley turns to us and points at Luke. This jerk actually said they're better warmed up in the microwave. Ew, I say instead of my usual ill. And Maya goes, are you serious? I know, right? Says Haley. Jesus Christ, Luke says. I only asked for $1 to buy one from the machine. Not wasting my money to destroy a perfectly good Pop-Tart in a microwave. They're supposed to be heated up, he argues. I actually agree with Luke, Jess says. Pop-Tarts are 10 times better heated up. I move my shoulders so her head isn't resting on it. We can't be friends anymore. Her mouth drops open and she pouts. Fine, fine, I say. And she rests her head on my shoulder with a wide grin. Total weirdo. I don't know how she'll survive without my shoulder when she graduates in a few months. Anyone who eats up a Pop-Tart should be charged, Haley says, and imprisoned, I say, and forced to eat uncooked Pop-Tarts until they accept how good they are. Maya adds. It is law, Haley finishes, smacking the table like that settles it. You guys have issues, Luke says, hopping off the table. He picks at Haley's hair. I think all that dye seeped into your brain. She swats at him as he leaves. She's added blue streaks to her honey blonde hair and cut it shoulder length. In 5th grade, she trimmed it with some scissors during a math test because she felt like it. That was the moment I knew she didn't give a shit. I like the blue, Hales, I say, and the cut. Yeah, Mike grins. It's very Joe Jonas of you. Haley whips her head around so fast, her eyes flashing. Maya and I snicker. So there's a video deep in the depths of YouTube of the three of us lip-syncing to the Jonas Brothers and pretending to play guitars and drums in Haley's bedroom. She's decided she was Joe, I was Nick, and Maya was Kevin. I really wanted to be Joe. I secretly loved him the most, but Haley said she should have him, so I let her. I let her have her way a lot. Still do. That's part of being Williamson's star, I guess. I so have to find that video, Jess says. No, Haley goes, sliding off the tabletop. It must never be found. She sits across from us. Never. Never. If I remembered that account's password, I'd delete it. Oh, ooh, what was the account's name? Jess asks. Joe Bro Lover or something? Wait, no, Joe Bro Lover. Everybody liked to misspell shit in middle school. I smirk and mumble, close. Haley looks at me. Star? Maya and Britt crack up. It's moments like this that I feel normal at Williamson. Despite the guidelines I put on myself, I've still found my group, my table. Okay then, Haley says. I see how it is. Maya Jonas and Nick's Starry Girl 2000. So Hales, I say, before she can finish my old screen name. She grins. How was your spring break? Haley loses her grin and rolls her eyes. Oh, it was wonderful. Dad and stepmother Dearest dragged me and Remy to the house in the Bahamas for family bonding. And bam, that normal feeling, gone. I suddenly remember how different I am from most of the kids here. Nobody would have to drag me or my brothers to the Bahamas. We'd swim there if we could. For us, a family vacation is staying in a local hotel with a swimming pool for a weekend. Sounds like my parents, says Brett, took us to fucking Harry Potter World for the 3rd year in a row. I'm sick of butterbeer and corny family photos with wands. Holy shit, who the fuck complains about going to Harry Potter World, or butterbeer, or wands? I hope none of them ask about my spring break. They went to Taipei, the Bahamas, Harry Potter World. I stayed in the hood and saw a cop kill my friend. I guess the Bahamas wasn't so bad, Haley says. They wanted us to do family stuff, but we ended up doing our own thing the entire time. You mean he texted me the entire time? Maya says. It was still my own thing. All day, every day, Maya adds, ignoring the time difference. Whatever, shorty. You know you liked talking to me. Oh, I say, that's cool. Really, though, it's not. Haley never texted me during spring break. She barely texts me at all lately. Maybe once a week now. And it used to be every day. Something's changed between us, and neither one of us acknowledges it. We're normal when we're at Williamson, like now. Beyond here, though, we're no longer best friends. Just, I don't know. Plus, she unfollowed my Tumblr. She has no clue that I know. I once posted a picture of Emmett Till, a 14-year-old black boy who was murdered for whistling at a white woman in 1955. His mutilated body didn't look human. Haley texted me immediately after, freaking out. I thought it was because she couldn't believe someone would do that to a kid. No, she couldn't believe I would reblog such an awful picture. Not long after that, she stopped liking and reblogging my other posts. I looked through my followers list. Aw, Hales was no longer following me, with me living 45 minutes away. Tumblr is supposed to be sacred ground where our friendship is cemented. Unfollowing me is the same as saying I don't like you anymore. Maybe I'm being sensitive, or maybe things have changed. Maybe I've changed. For now, I guess we'll keep pretending everything is fine. The first bell rings. On Monday's AP English is first for me, Haley and Maya. On the way, they get into this big discussion turned argument about NCAA brackets in the Final Four. Haley was born a Notre Dame fan. Maya hates them almost unhealthily. I stay out of that discussion. The NBA is more my thing anyway. We turned in the hall, and Chris is standing in the doorway of our class, his hands stuffed in his pockets and a pair of headphones draped around his neck. He looks straight at me and stretches his arm across the doorway. Haley glances from him to me, back and forth, back and forth. Did something happen with you guys? My pursed lips probably give me away. Yeah, sort of. That, I don't like saying, who cares? That word. That douche, Haley says, reminding me why we're friends. She doesn't need details. If someone hurts me in any way, they're automatically on her shit list. It started in 5th grade, 2 years before Maya came along. We were those crybaby kids who would bust up crying at the smallest shit. Me because of Natasha, and Haley because she lost her mom to cancer. We rode the waves of grief together. That's why this weirdness between us doesn't make sense. What do you want me to do, Star? She asks. I don't know. Before Khalil, I planned to cold shoulder Chris with a sting more powerful than a 90s R&B breakup song. But after Khalil, I'm more like a Taylor Swift song. No shade, I fucks with Tay-Tay, but she doesn't serve like 90s R&B on the angry girlfriend scale. I'm not happy with Chris. Yeah, I miss him. I miss us. I need him so much that I'm willing to forget what he did. That's scary as fuck too. Someone I've only been with for a year means that much to me, but Chris, he's different. You know what? I'll Beyonce him. Not as powerful as a 90s R&B breakup, but stronger than a Taylor Swift. Yeah, that'll work. I'll tell Haley and Maya I'll handle him. They move so I'm between them like they're my bodyguards, and we go to the door together. Chris bows to us. Ladies, move, Maya orders, funny considering how much Chris towers over her. He looks at me with his baby blues. He got a tan over break. I used to tell him he was so pale he looked like a marshmallow. He hated that I compared him to food. I told him that's what he got for calling me caramel. It shut him up. Damn it, though. He's wearing the Space Jam 11s, too. I forgot we decided to wear them the first day back. They look good on him. Jordans are my weakness. Can't help it. I just want to talk to my girl. He claims. I don't know who that is. I say, Beyonceing him like a pro. He sighs through his nose. Please, Star, can we at least talk about it? I'm back to Taylor Swift because the please does it. I nod at Haley and Maya. You hurt her and I'll kill you. Haley Lawrence, and she and Maya go into class without me. Chris and I move away from the door. I lean against the locker and fold my arms. I'm listening, I say. A bass, heavy instrumental plays in his headphones, probably one of his beats. I'm sorry for what happened. I should have talked to you first. I cock my head. We did talk about it a week before, remember? I know, and I heard you. I just wanted to be prepared in case. You could push the right buttons, convince me to change my mind? No. His hands go up in surrender. Star, you know I wouldn't. That's not... I'm sorry, okay? I took it too far. Understatement. The day before Big D's party, Chris and I were in Chris's ridiculously large room. The third floor of his parents' mansion is a suite for him, and a perk of being the last born to empty nesters. I try to forget that he has an entire floor as big as my house and hired help that looks like me. Fooling around isn't new for us, and when Chris slipped his hand on my shorts, I didn't think anything of it. Then he got me going, and I really wasn't thinking at all. For real, my thought process went out the door, and right as I was at that moment, he stopped, reached into his pocket and pulled out a condom. He raised his eyebrows at me, silently asking for an invitation to go all the way. All I could think about was those girls I see walking around Garden Heights, babies propped on their hips, condom or no condom, shit happens. I went off on Chris. He knew I wasn't ready for that. We already talked about it, and yet he had a condom? He said he wanted to be responsible, but if I said I'm not ready, I'm not ready. I left us as pissed and horny. The absolute worst way to leave. My mom may have been right, though. She once said that after you go there with the guy, it activates all these feelings, and you want to do it all the time. Chris and I went far enough that I noticed every single detail about his body now. His cute nostrils that flare when he sighs, his soft brown hair that my fingers love to explore, his gentle lips and his tongue that wets them every so often, the 5 freckles on his neck that are in the perfect spots for kissing. More than that, I remember the guy who spends almost every night on the phone with me talking about nothing and everything. The one who loves to make me smile. Yeah, he pisses me off sometimes. I'm sure I piss him off. But we mean something. We actually mean a lot. Fuckity fuck. I'm crumbling. Chris? He goes for a low blow and beatboxes an all too familiar bump, 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 bump. I point at him. Don't you dare. Now, this is a story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down, and I'd like to take a minute to sit right there. I'll tell you how I became the prince of a town called Bel Air. He beatboxes the instrumental and pops his chest and booty to the rhythm. People pass by us laughing. A guy whistles suggestively. Someone shouts, "Shake that ass, Bryant." My smile grows before I can stop it. The Fresh Prince isn't just my show, it's our show. Sophomore year, he followed my Tumblr and I followed him back. We knew of each other from school, but we didn't know each other. One Saturday, I reblogged a bunch of Fresh Prince GIFs and clips. He liked and reblogged every single one. That Monday morning in the cafeteria, he paid for my Pop-Tarts and grape juice and said, "The first Aunt Viv was the best Aunt Viv." It was the beginning of us. Chris gets the Fresh Prince, which helps get me. We once talked about how cool it was that Will remained himself in his new world. I slipped up and said I wish I could be like that at school. Chris said, "Why can't you, Fresh Princess?" Why can't you, Fresh Princess? Ever since, I don't have to decide which star I have to be with him. He likes both. Well, the parts I've shown him. Some things I can't reveal, like Natasha. Once you've seen how broken someone is, it's like seeing them naked. You can't look at them the same anymore. I like the way he looks at me now, as if I'm one of the best things in his life. He's one of the best things in mine, too. I can't lie. We get the "why is he dating her" stare that usually comes from rich white girls. Sometimes I wonder the same thing. Sometimes I wonder the same thing. Chris acts like those looks don't exist. When he does stuff like this, rapping and beatboxing in the middle of the busy hall just to make me smile, I forget about those looks too. He starts the second verse, swaying his shoulders and looking at me. The worst part, his silly butt knows it's working. And West Philadelphia, born and raised. Come on, babe, join in. He grabs my hands. 115 follows Khalil's hands with the flashlight. He orders Khalil to get out with his hands up. He barks at me to put my hands on the dashboard. I kneel beside my dead friend in the middle of the street with my hands raised. A cop as white as Chris points a gun at me. As white as Chris. I flinch and snatch away. Chris frowns. "Star, you okay?" Khalil opens the door. "You okay, Star?" Pow! There's blood. Too much blood. The second bell rings, jolting me back to normal Williamson, where I'm not normal Star. Chris leans down, his face in front of mine. My tears blur him. "Star?" It's a few tears, yeah, but I feel exposed. I turn to go to class and Chris grabs my arm. I yank away and whirl on him. His hands go up in surrender. "Sorry, I whip my eyes and walk into the classroom. Chris is right behind me. Haley and Maya shoot him the dirtiest looks. I lower myself into the desk in front of Haley. She squeezes my shoulder. That jackwad. Nobody mentioned Khalil at school today. I hate to admit it, because it's like throwing him the middle finger. But I'm relieved. Since basketball season is over, I leave when everybody else does. Probably for the first time in my life, I wish it wasn't the end of the day. I'm not much closer to talking to the cops. Moving the lamp again. Oh. Haley and I trek across the parking lot, arm in arm. Maya's the driver to pick her up. Haley has her own car, and I have a brother with a car. The two of us always end up walking out together. Are you absolutely sure you don't want me to kick Chris's ass? Haley asks. I told her and Maya about Condom Gate, and as far as they're concerned, Chris is eternally banished to asshole land. Yes, I say for the 100th time. You're violent, Hales. When it comes to my friends, possibly. Seriously, though, why would he even? God, boys and their fucking sex drive. I snort. Is that why you and Luke haven't gotten together? She lightly elbows me. Shut up. I laugh. Why won't you admit you like him? What makes you think I like him? Really, Haley? Whatever, Star. This isn't about me. This is about you and your sex-driven boyfriend. He's not sex-driven, I say. Then what do you call it? He was horny at that moment. Same thing. I try to keep a straight face, and she does too. But soon we're cracking up. God, it feels good to be normal, Star and Haley. Has me wondering if I imagined a change. I try to keep a straight face, and she does too, but soon... Oh. We part at the hallway point to Haley's car in Sevens. Or we part at the... Sorry, I think I'm getting out of it from reading for so long. We part at the halfway point to Haley's car in Sevens. The ass-kicking offer is still on the table, she calls to me. Bye, Haley. I walk off, rubbing my arms. Spring has decided to go through an identity crisis and get chilly on me. A few feet away, Seven keeps a hand on his car as he talks to his girlfriend, Layla. Yeah, him and that damn Mustang. He touches it more than he touches Layla. She obviously doesn't care. She plays with the dreadlock near his face that isn't pulled into his ponytail. I roll worthy. Some girls do too much. Can't she play with all them curls on her own head? Honestly, though, I don't have a problem with Layla. She's a geek like Sevens, bright enough for Harvard, but Howard bound, and real sweet. She's one of the 4 black girls in the senior class, and if Seven just wants to date black girls, he picked a great one. I walked up to them and go, at him? Seven keeps his eyes on Layla. Go sign Zakani out. Can't, I lie. Mama didn't put me on the list. Yes, she did. Go. I fold my arms. I'm not walking halfway across campus to get him and halfway back. We can get him when we're leaving. He side-eyes me, but I'm too tired for all that, and it's cold. Seven kisses Layla and goes around to the driver's side, acting like that's a long walk. He mumbles. Acting like we can't get him when we're leaving, I say and hop in. He starts the car. This nice mix Chris made of Kanye and my other future husband J. Cole plays from Seven's iPod dock. He maneuvers through the parking lot traffic to Sakani's school. Seven signs him out of his after-school program and we leave. I'm hungry, Sakani whines, not even 5 minutes out the parking lot. Didn't they give you a snack in after school? Seven asks. So? I'm still hungry. Greedy butt. Seven says, and Sakani kicks the back of the seat. Seven laughs. Okay. Ma asked me to bring some food to the clinic anyway. I'll get you something too. He looks at Sakani in the rearview mirror. Is that cool? Seven freezes. He turns Chris's mix off and slows down. What you turn the music off for? Sakani asks. Shut up, Seven hisses. We stop at a red light. A Riverton Hills patrol car pulls up beside us. Seven straightens up and steers ahead, barely blinking and gripping the steering wheel. His eyes move a little like he wants to look at the cop car. He swallows hard. Come on, light, he prays, come on. I stare ahead and pray for the light to change too. It finally turns green and Seven lets the patrol car go first. His shoulders don't relax until we get on the freeway. Mine neither. We stop at this Chinese restaurant Mama loves and get food for all of us. She wants me to eat before I talk to the detectives. In Garden Heights, kids play in the streets. Sakani presses his face against my window and watches them. He won't play with them, though. Last time he played with some neighborhood kids, they called him White Boy because he goes to Williamson. Black Jesus greets us from a mural on the side of the clinic. He has locks like Seven. His arms stretched the width of the wall. Wait, did I skip a page or no? I'm just checking. Okay, no. Black Jesus greets us from a mural on the side of the clinic. He has locks like 7. His arms stretch the width of the wall, and there are puffy white clouds behind him. Big letters above him remind us that Jesus loves you. 7 passes Black Jesus and goes into the parking lot behind the clinic. He punches in a code to open the gate and parks next to Mama's Camry. I get the tray of sodas. 7 gets the food, and Zakani doesn't take anything because he never takes anything. I hit the buzzer for the back door and wave up at the camera. The door opens into a sterile-smelling hallway with bright white walls and white tile floors that reflect us. The hall takes us to the waiting room. A handful of people watch the news on the old box TV in the ceiling, or read magazines that have been there since I was little. When the shaggy-haired man sees that we have food, he shrinks up and sniffs hard as if it's for him. "What y'all bringing up in here?" Miss Felicia asks at the front desk, stretching her neck to see. Mama comes from the other hallway in her plain yellow scrubs, following a teary-eyed boy and his mom. The boy sucks on a lollipop, a reward for surviving a shot. "There go my babies," Mama says when she sees us. "And they got my food too. Come on, let's go in the back." "Save me some," Miss Felicia calls after us. Mama tells her to hush. We set the food out on the break room table. Mama gets some paper plates and the plastic utensils that she keeps in a cabinet for days like this. We say grace and dig in. Mama sits on the countertop and eats. This is hitting the spot. "Thank you, 7 baby. I only had a bag of Cheetos today." "You didn't have lunch?" Sakani asks with a mouthful of fried rice. Mama points her fork at him. "What did I tell you about talking with your mouth full? And for your information, no, I did not. I had a meeting on my lunch break. Now tell me about y'all. How was school?" Sakani always talks the longest because he gives every single detail. 7 says his day was fine. I'm as short with my, "It was all right." Mama sips her soda. "Anything happen?" "I freaked out when my boyfriend touched me, but..." "Nope, nothing." Miss Felicia comes to the door. "Lisa, sorry to bother you, but we have an issue up front." "I'm on break, Felicia." "Didn't you think I knew that? But she asking for you. It's Brenda." Khalil's Mama. My mom sets her plate down. She looks straight at me when she says, "Stay here." I'm hard-headed, though. I follow her to the waiting room. Miss Brenda sits with her face in her hands. Her hair is uncombed, and her white shirt is dingy, almost brown. She has sores and scabs on her arms and legs, and since she's real light-skinned, they show up even more. Mama kneels in front of her. "Bren, hey." Miss Brenda moves her hands. Her red eyes remind me of what Khalil said when we were little, that his mama had turned into a dragon. He claimed that one day he'd become a knight and turn her back. It doesn't make sense that he sold drugs. I would have thought his broken heart wouldn't let him. "My baby," his mama cries. "Lisa, my baby." Mama sandwiches Miss Brenda's hands between hers and rubs them, not caring that they're nasty looking. "I know, Bren. They killed my baby. I know. They killed him. I know. Lord Jesus," Miss Felicia says from the doorway. Next to her, 7 puts his arm. "Lord Jesus," Miss Felicia says from the doorway. Next to her, 7 puts his arm around Zakani. Some patients in the waiting room shake their heads. "But Bren, you gotta get cleaned up," Mama says. "That's what he wanted." "I can't. My baby ain't here." "Yes, you can. You have Cameron and he needs you. Your mama needs you." "Khalil needed you," I want to say. "He waited for you and cried for you. But where were you? You don't get to cry now. Nuh-uh. It's too late." But she keeps crying, rocking and crying. "Tammy and I can get you some help, Bren," Mama says, "but you gotta really want it this time. I don't want to live like this no more." "I know," Mama waves Miss Felicia over and hands Miss Felicia her phone. "Look through my contacts and find Tammy Harris's number. Call and tell her that her sister is here." "Bren, when was the last time you ate?" "I don't know. My baby." Mama straightens up and rubs Miss Brenda's shoulder. "I'm going to get you some food." I follow Mama back. She walks kind of fast, but passes the food and goes to the counter. She leans on it with her back to me and bows her head, not saying a word. Back to me, Bowser. Everything I wanted to say in the waiting room comes bubbling out. How come she gets to be upset? She wasn't there for Khalil. You know how many times he cried about her? Birthdays, Christmas, all that. Why does she get to cry now? Star, please. She hasn't acted like a mom to him. Now all of a sudden, he's her baby? It's bullshit. Mama smacks the counter and I jump. "Shut up," she screams. She turns around, tears streaking her face. That wasn't some little friend of hers. That was her son. You hear me? Her son. Her voice cracks. She carried that boy, birthed that boy, and you have no right to judge her. I have cotton mouth. Mama closes her eyes. She massages her forehead. I'm sorry. Fix her a plate, baby, okay? Fix her a plate. I do, and put a little extra of everything on it. I take it to Miss Brenda. She mumbles what sounds like thank you as she takes it. When she looks at me through the red haze, Khalil's eyes stare back at me, and I realize my mom's right. Miss Brenda is Khalil's mom, regardless. Okay. I'm going to read just a little bit more, and it might break in the middle of chapter 6 here, because I'm kind of getting tired. But this is an amazing book so far. This is really good. I really like it. I hope you guys are liking it too. My mom and I arrive at the police station at 4:30 on the dot. A handful of cops talk on phones, type on computers, stand around. Normal stuff like on Law and Order, but my breath catches. I count. 1, 2, 3, 4. I lose count around 12 because the guns in their holsters are all I can see. All of them. 2 of us. Mama squeezes my hand. Breathe. I didn't realize I'd grabbed hers. I take a deep breath and another, and she nods with each one, saying, That's it. You're okay. We're okay. Uncle Carlos comes over, and he and Mama lead me to his desk where I sit down. I feel eyes on me from all around. The grip tightens around my lungs. Uncle Carlos hands me a sweating bottle of water. Mama puts it to my lips. I take slow sips and look around Uncle Carlos's desk to avoid the curious eyes of the officers. He has almost as many pictures of me and Sakani on display as he has of his own kids. I'm taking her home, Mama tells him. I'm not putting her through this today. She's not ready. I understand that she has to talk to them at some point, Lisa. She's a vital part of this investigation. Mama sighs. Carlos, I get it, he says in a noticeably lower voice. Believe me, I do. Unfortunately, if we want this investigation done right, she has to talk to them. If not today, then another day. Another day of waiting and wondering what's going to happen. I can't go through that. I want to do it today, I mumble. I want to get it over with. They look at me like they just remembered I'm here. Uncle Carlos kneels in front of me. Are you sure, baby girl? I nod before I lose my nerve. All right, Mama says, but I'm going with her. That's totally fine, Uncle Carlos says. I don't care if it's not fine. She looks at me. She's not doing this alone. Those words feel as good as any hug I've ever gotten. Uncle Carlos keeps an arm around me and leads us to a small room that has nothing in it but a table and some chairs. An unseen air conditioner hums loudly, blasting freezing air into the room. All right, Uncle Carlos says. I'll be outside, okay? Okay, I say. He kisses my forehead with his usual 2 pecks. Mama takes my hand, and her tight squeeze tells me what she doesn't say out loud. I got your back. We sit at the table. She's still holding my hand when the 2 detectives come in. A young white guy with slick black hair and a Latina with lines around her mouth and a spiky haircut. Both of them wear guns on their waists. Keep your hands visible. No sudden moves. Only speak when spoken to. Hi, sir and Mrs. Carter, the woman says, holding out her hand. I'm Detective Gomez, and this is my partner, Detective Wilkes. I let go of my mom's hand to shake the detective's hands. Hello. My voice is changing already. It always happens around other people whether I'm at Williamson or not. I don't talk like me or sound like me. I choose every word carefully and make sure I pronounce them well. I can never ever let anyone think I'm ghetto. It's so nice to meet you both, Wilkes says. Considering the circumstances, I wouldn't call it nice, says Mama. Wilkes' face and neck gets extremely red. Oh, it's so nice to meet you both. Okay. What he means is we've heard so much about you both, Gomez says. Carlos always gushes about his wonderful family. We feel like we know you already. She's laying it on extra thick. Please, have a seat. Gomez points to a chair, and she and Wilkes sit across from us. Just so you know, you're being recorded, but it's simply so we can have Star's statement on record. Okay, I say. There it is again, all perky and shit. I'm never perky. Detective Gomez gives the date and time and the names of the people in the room and reminds us that we're being recorded. Wilkes scribbles in his notebook. Mama rubs my back. For a moment, there's only the sound of pencil on paper. All right then. Gomez adjusts herself in her chair and smiles, the lines around her mouth deepening. Don't be nervous, Star. You haven't done anything wrong. We just want to know what happened. I know I haven't done anything wrong, I think, but it comes out as, yes, ma'am. You're 16, right? Yes, ma'am. How long did you know Khalil? Since I was 3. His grandmother used to babysit me. Wow, she says. I'll teach her like stretching out the word. That's a long time. Can you tell us what happened the night of the incident? You mean the night he was killed? Shit. Gomez's smile dims. The lines around her mouth aren't as deep, but she says, the night of the incident. Yes, start where you feel comfortable. I look at Mama. She nods. My friend Kenny and I went to a house party hosted by a guy named Darius. I say, thump, thump, thump. I drum the table. Stop. No sudden moves. I lay my hands flat to keep them visible. He has one every spring break, I say. Khalil saw me, came over and said hello. Do you know why he was at the party? Gomez asks, why does anybody go to a party? To party. I assume it was for recreational purposes, I say. He and I talked about things going on in our lives. What kind of things? She questions. His grandmother has cancer. I didn't know until he told me that evening. I see, Gomez says. What happened after that? A fight occurred at the party, so we left together in his car. Khalil didn't have anything to do with the fight? I raise an eyebrow. Nah. Damn it. Proper English. I sit up straight. I mean, no, ma'am. We were talking when the fight occurred. Okay, so you two left. Where were you going? He offered to take me home or to my father's grocery store. Before we could decide, 115 pulled us over. Who? She asks. The officer. That's his badge number, I say. I remember it. Wilk scribbles. I see, Gomez says. Can you describe what happened next? I don't think I'll ever forget what happened, but saying it out loud, that's different and hard. My eyes prickle. I blink, staring at the table. Mama rubs my back. Look up, Star. My parents have this thing where they never want me or my brothers to talk to somebody without looking them in their eyes. They claim that a person's eyes say more than their mouth, and that it goes both ways. If we look someone in their eyes and mean what we say, they should have little reason to doubt us. I look at Gomez. Khalil pulled over to the side of the road and turned the ignition off. I say, 115 put his brights on. Hold on. I just want to make sure it's still live because I've been going for several hours. Okay. We're still going. Okay. Sorry. Left at a crucial moment. Okay. My parents have this thing where they never want me or my brothers to talk to somebody without looking them in their eyes. They claim that a person's eyes say more than their mouth, and that it goes both ways. If we look someone in their eyes and mean what we say, they should have little reason to doubt us. I look at Gomez. Khalil pulled over to the side of the road and turned the ignition off, I say. 115 put his brights on. He approached the window and asked Khalil for his license and registration. Did Khalil comply? Gomez asks. He asked the officer why he pulled us over first. Then he showed his license and registration. Did Khalil seem irate during this exchange? Annoyed, not irate. I say he felt that the cop was harassing him. Did he tell you this? No, but I could tell. I assumed the same thing myself. Shit. Gomez scoots closer. Maroon lipstick stains her teeth, and her breath smells like coffee. And why was that? Breathe. The room isn't hot. You're nervous. Because we weren't doing anything wrong. I say, Khalil wasn't speeding or driving recklessly. It didn't seem like he had a reason to pull us over. I see. What happened next? The officer forced Khalil out the car. Forced? She says. Yes, ma'am. He pulled him out. Because Khalil was hesitant, right? Mama makes this throaty sound, like she was about to say something, but stopped herself. She purses her lips and rubs my back in circles. I remember what Daddy said. Don't let them put words in your mouth. No, ma'am, I say to Gomez. He was getting out on his own, and the officer yanked him the rest of the way. She says, I see, again, but she didn't see it, so she probably doesn't believe it. What happened next? She asks. The officer patted Khalil down 3 times. 3? Yeah, I counted. Yes, ma'am. He didn't find anything. He then told Khalil to stay put while he ran his license and registration. But Khalil didn't stay put, did he? She says. He didn't pull the trigger on himself either. Shit, your fucking big mouth. The detectives glanced at each other. A moment of silence. A moment of silent conversation. The wool's moving closer. The grip around my lungs returns. I pull my shirt away from my neck. I think we're done for today, Mama says, taking my hand as she starts to stand up. But Mrs. Carter, we're not finished. I don't care. Mom, I say, and she looks down at me. It's okay, I can do this. She gives him a glare similar to the one she gives me, my brothers, when we've pushed her to her limit. She sits down but holds on to my hand. Okay, Gomez says. So he patted Khalil down and told him he would check his license and registration. What next? Khalil opened the driver's side door and pow, pow, pow. Blood. Tears crawled down my cheeks. I wiped them on my arm. The officer shot him. Do you... Gomez starts, but Mama holds a finger toward her. Could you please give her a second? She says. It sounds more like an order than a question. Gomez doesn't say anything. Wilkes scribbles some more. Mom wipes some of my tears for me. Whenever you're ready, she says. I swallow the lump in my throat and nod. Okay, Gomez says, and takes a deep breath. Do you know why Khalil came to the door, Star? I think he was coming to ask if I was okay. You think? I'm not a telepath. Yes, ma'am. He started asking but didn't finish because the officer shot him in the back. My salty tears fall on my lips. Gomez leans across the table. We all want to get to the bottom of this, Star. We appreciate your cooperation. I understand this is hard right now. I wipe my face on my arm again. Yeah, she smiles and says it in that same sugary, sympathetic tone. Now, do you know if Khalil sold narcotics? Pause. What the fuck? My tears stop. For real, my eyes get dry with the quickness. Before I can say anything, my mom goes, what does that have to do with anything? It's only a question, Gomez says. Do you, Star? All the sympathy, the smiles, understanding, this chick was baiting me. Investigating or justifying? I know the answer to her question. I knew it when I saw Khalil at the party. He never wore new shoes. And jewelry? Those little 99-cent chains he bought at the beauty supply store didn't count. Miss Rosalie just confirmed it. What the hell does that have to do with him getting murdered? Is it supposed to make all of this okay? Gomez tilts her head. Star, can you please answer the question? I refuse to make them feel better about killing my friend. I straighten up, look Gomez dead in her eyes and say, I never saw him sell drugs or do drugs. But do you know if he sold them? She asks. He never told me he did, I say, which is true. Khalil never flat out admitted it to me. Do you have knowledge of him selling them? I heard things. Also true. She sighs. I see. Do you know if he was involved with the King Lords? No. The garden disciplines? No. Did you consume any alcohol at the party? She asks. I knew that move from Law and Order. She's trying to discredit me. No, I don't drink. Did Khalil? Whoa, wait 1 second, Mama says. Are you all putting Khalil and Star on trial or the cop who killed him? Wilkes looks up from his notes. I don't quite understand, Mrs. Carter. Gomez sputters. You haven't asked my child about that cop yet, Mama says. You keep asking her about Khalil like he's the reason he's dead. Like she said, he didn't pull the trigger on himself. We just want the whole picture, Mrs. Carter, that's all. 115 killed him, I say, and he wasn't doing anything wrong. How much of a bigger picture do you need? 15 minutes later, I leave the police station with my mom. Both of us know the same thing. This is going to be bullshit. This is going to be some bullshit. Whew. Okay. I know the story's getting juicy, but I think I'm going to stop here and then maybe do another live stream of reading more of the book. But it's a really good story so far. So if you cut into this a little bit later, but you can probably tell by the title, it's This Book, The Hate U Give by Angie Thomas. And I read up to basically 1 through 6, chapters 1 through 6 right now. So I'm obviously going to finish it and keep reading it. So subscribe if you want to. You don't have to, but I appreciate you listening to me and watching me read and enjoying the book. I obviously love reading and the book's really good so far. So if you want to hear the rest of it or, you know, want to read it yourself, I recommend it. From what I've read so far, I really like it a lot. So yeah, thank you for watching. Give the video a like, subscribe if you want to hear the rest of the book, because I'm going to keep doing this when I can. So yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks, bye!